But you got a flag down. Oofsides.
Oh wait, hang on. I forgot to turn off my noise canceling. So I'll fix this in
Unbelievable.
post. Okay, there we go. Wait, let me double check, make sure it's off fully. No noise.
We just had a
suppression.
false start on the podcast. That's insane.
Yeah, we got called Oofsides.
You should leave that in. Leave that in as the cold open.
Yeah, that's the cold opening.
Well, what's the penalty for that?
That's a good question. We all have to move our chairs back 5 yards.
Personal
Man,
foul.
I'm gonna be in my yard.
Yeah.
Personal foul. Premature podcast start.
You're on Track and Turf Media. Good
personal foul. Premature podcast start. Execution by firing squad. Still first down.
I was gonna say it's a good thing my headphone cable's like 6 feet long, so I can just walk out the room and still hear everything. All right,
Me,
anyway,
an advanced individual with a wireless headset.
Look, not everybody's living the big baller life, okay?
Well, you got a flag down. Oofside.
Everyone but the center. Offense.
You're listening to Oofsides on Track and Turf Media.
Talk about playoffs?
But they are who we thought they were.
Who's gonna win it all?
Football!
And who is Dunyan Rings?
You play to win the game.
Live from the Dieter Brock studio.
Don't let these tears fool you. There's all a dog around this mug.
Here's the crew that's bringing it all to you.
Welcome to Oofsides. Week 8 is in the books. Can you guys believe it? We're almost halfway. Like, the end of this weekend marks the halfway point.
Time is
Yeah,
moving
what the
far
hell?
too fast.
Yeah. Seems like just yesterday we started this podcast.
Little baby podcast.
His
Yeah.
bombcast.
It's a little bunch of little guys.
Little
birthday
guys.
boys. Just guys being dudes.
Dude.
Gotta say, after this week, feeling great.
Yeah,
I
Wonderful, man.
feel fan-fucking-tastic this week, man.
We're
Must be nice.
living the high life.
Must be nice.
I
Yeah,
take the
this-
good where I can get it.
This was a weird week. A lot to talk about.
They've all been weird.
Yeah, that is true. This has just been a particularly weird season. I feel
Uh-huh.
like.
It really has.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm down
It's
to clown.
fun. It's different.
Yeah. God, it is so cold in my house right now. I really need to take. We're at the end of October, and I'm finally to the point where I'm like, I should take my window AC out, shouldn't I? But it was also 90 degrees last week.
It got up to 80 today. Which
Should be
is
80 for me
weird,
on Thursday.
'cause earlier this week it was trying to snow.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was 45 degrees this morning. I actually had to wear pants to work.
Did you just go there like commando or something?
I was wearing shorts usually.
Oh yeah.
Just in my jorts.
Yeah.
God.
Do you have jorts with like zippers that turn them into normal jeans? like a Target top for your jeans?
Yeah. We need to bring those back into fashion. I think I owned a pair of those when I was a kid, now that I think about it. Like the pants that had the zip-off pant legs, so you could convert them.
I did have those as a kid. They were cargo
Dude,
shorts as well.
I saw somebody in fucking Jinkos yesterday on my way home from work. It was so awesome.
Awesome.
God, the 2000s are back.
Love it.
Well, I guess we'll just jump right into it. Starting with Thursday night. I think we're all getting a little concerned here in Vikings land, but this was a huge win for the home team as the Rams beat the Vikings 30-20. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of talk about the way this game ended, but
As there should be.
Yeah, but this was a huge performance by the Rams where they finally got seemingly all of their injured stars back. You know, there's the rumor about Cooper Kupp, if he's going to be on the trade block. I think we can put those to rest as Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua and their returns to the Rams offense had a huge night against Minnesota, and all of a sudden the Rams are right back in the playoff hunt.
It should also be noted too that the NFC North is so competitive this year that the Vikings started 5-0. They've only lost 2 in a row now, and they've already slipped to 3rd in the division.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it is crazy because you look at how this has gone and you're like, oh man, the Vikings season is starting to slip. They're 6-2, or I mean 5-2. Like it's better than like a lot of other entire divisions. Like this might be the best third place team in the NFL in a long time. It seems like.
I think that's just a testament to how good that division is overall. I think it's still anybody's game.
Oh yeah. We do got to
What was-
talk about. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Was it 2 or 3 years ago that the AFC North was just like that too?
Well,
Those
I know
last four
last year.
teams being that
Yeah,
good.
last year all 4 of them had winning records.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Worth noting too, by the way, in this game, Sean McVay became the winningest head coach in the history of the Rams.
Oh, okay, yes.
Wow.
Actually, I have this stat written down somewhere, and I forgot to grab it. Hang on. No, there was a couple other things about it. Yes. Oh, that's not it. Shit.
Good job.
Yeah, he became the winningest head coach in Rams history, if I recall correctly. It was on his son's first birthday, and he and John Madden, I believe, are the only 2 coaches to reach that number of wins before age 40, if I recall correctly.
Well, damn.
So he's an elite company already.
Yeah, it blows my mind, honestly, that like Sean McVay has already accomplished so much in his coaching career, and he's still only 38 years old.
Oh yeah, okay. I
And-
just found it.
and-
It was his 80th win. So
And comparing that, obviously, to like Tom Brady, who just played full time as a quarterback until age 45, and yet Sean McVay has done this much before turning 40 as a coach. Like I love in the NFL and in sports how like coaching and players can go way different directions in terms of ages and things like that. Like he could end up being an all-time coach if he can like keep, even if it's not with the Rams, just continuing to be a consistently winning coach and can do it for as long as like Don Shula or Tom Landry did. He could very well end up taking the record for the most wins by a coach ever when he's all said and done.
oh yeah. I mean, yeah, it just reminds me of like when we think about in NASCAR, we think about Joey Logano and how much he's already accomplished, and it's like, oh yeah, he's like 32.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We still have
one
to
of
deal
those
with this
where-
guy for another 15 years.
Yeah. You keep pace, they're just gonna shatter every record. Like
Yeah.
what Connor McDavid's doing as well.
Yeah. Another quick stat, and this just shows how much the Rams have been missing their receiving targets. Before this week, Matt Stafford had only thrown 3 pass touchdowns and was 1 of 12 completed passes in the end zone. He throws 4 in this game alone. They were just feeding Puka Nacua like all night. 7 catches for 106 yards.
I do love though that like 2 of those touchdowns weren't to Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp, though Cooper Kupp did get 1. No, 2 of them were from Demarcus Robinson, and they were his only 2 catches of the game.
Yeah. That second one too was a huge one because that was what put them on top.
Yeah.
Or really stretched their lead out. And if you're the Vikings, this is a tough one too because they score on their first 2 drives of the game. I mean, both teams go touchdown. Back, both of their first drives to start this game, whole bunch of punts, and then the Rams hold the Vikings to 2 field goals through the rest of the game. Some serious missed opportunities, but it all came down to with about 2.5 minutes left to go, the Vikings get the ball back, about 2 minutes ago they get the ball back. Darnold throws an incomplete pass on first down, and on second down, Darnold is sacked for a safety on a very clear face mask that
My
just
God.
doesn't get called. And I've heard the official's explanation. It makes no sense. He talks about, okay, well, the one official, his view was blocked because of the O-line. The other official who's directly behind him, it's like, oh, he's looking at his back. Sure, but you could see Sam Darnold's face, even though his back was to you. That's how egregious of a face mask it was. Byron Young, the defender who tackled him, literally he said he didn't think he face masked him. He thought he horse collared him, which is you can see him react like he puts his hand over his face like he's pissed off that he just gave them a first down.
You knew
And
he
then it
fucked
just
up.
yeah, like even the defender, he's not celebrating what should be a game-ending safety. He's reacting like I just blew this, and they just don't call it. And I don't understand how you make that call. It was so clear. You could see it from the broadcast angle, like from the live view.
I can't believe we're in the year of our Lord 2024, and every other football league except for the NFL has figured out how to have a sky judge that can monitor all of those things.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a thing that drives me crazy is so I understand why they didn't throw a flag on review because NFL rules say that you can't review something and then retroactively throw a flag for a penalty that the officials missed. That's why it wasn't thrown. They saw it on the review because every scoring play is reviewed. That said, we have literally used this year replay review from somebody radioing up from up top to correct a bad call. It's already happened this year. Week 1, the Buccaneers got called for an ineligible man downfield. They announced the penalty, and then the booth radioed down and said, "Actually, you guys got that wrong," and they reversed the decision. It was not a challenge. It was something that we've never seen before, and everybody was like, "This is great. We're holding officials responsible, and this judge can jump in and say, hey, you guys missed this or you got this wrong." We've already established that precedent. We've already reviewed this play and seen that it's a scoring play, and there's a clear and obvious penalty. Why isn't this getting reversed? It just makes no sense. And
it's
like,
stupid that it can go one way but not the other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It may like obviously the Vikings were in a very bad situation. This play call didn't lose like it didn't prevent them from winning. It didn't take a winning score off. They still had to drive the length of the field, but it ended the game right then and there. It completely nullified any shot at a comeback, which it was a minute 42 to go, and all they needed was a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie it. And it's just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it was an 8-point game, which again, one score, and obviously marching down the entire length of the field with a minute and a half left isn't a guarantee by any means, but to rob them of the ability or the chance to do it kind of left a sour taste in my mouth for what had been a pretty solid game up to that point.
Oh yeah,
I just find it stupid that every single sports league right now is more hell-bent on protecting their referees' feelings than getting the right call for the right game.
Yeah.
I don't fucking get it.
I can't believe we're still doing this year after year after year after year.
Yeah, and like, I mean, the NHL will literally erase 3 minutes of game time because somebody was offsides before a score, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just replay it. We can't go back and say, hey, this game-ending safety was a face mask, a penalty that is not for unfair advantage, but for players' safety, right?
Yeah,
like
that's the face mask.
Yeah,
I
it's
can
not
get
like
it if
say
it's an illegal shift or something.
Yeah, or even like holding, which is just to prevent somebody from being able to make a play. The face mask is in play because the NFL doesn't want people getting their necks broken.
Boring.
If this happens directly in front of an official and they don't call it, that is a failure. It's just so ridiculous that, you know, things like the pass interference challenge rule just got nilled after one season because officials got their feelings hurt over it because of the worst blown call in NFL history, right? It's just so stupid, and it needs to change.
Yeah.
So. And it, unfortunately, like Dewey said, it put a damper on what was a pretty goddamn good game from, you know, a team that's, you know, at the height of their power, versus a rebounding Rams team that is like clawing and scratching their way back into playoff contention. So, sucks.
All it does is make people mad at a group of people that shouldn't have any interest in a game like this, and it keeps happening. And I don't know what it's going to take for them to, you know, do what they need to do to make refereeing actually worth a shit, I guess.
Yeah.
It also does not help in, all the conspiracies that have been started recently about referees being involved. Like, I don't think it's a widespread thing, obviously, but like,
No.
with the explosion of sports betting that we've seen over the last couple years, it keeps feeding into the whole thing. Oh, well, refs must be doing this because they must have money on the game, or whatever. And again, I don't think that's something you see almost at all. But with something that's becoming as widespread as it is, it's the optics of it still are not
Yeah.
great by any means.
Yeah.
Nobody wins. Everybody's pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, like, officials are humans. There's obviously going to be problems. I mean, the NFL, like, anybody who ever stands on the sideline will tell you, like, it's amazing that they get any calls right because of how fast-paced everything is. And so we shouldn't be in a situation where we are allowing bad calls to stand to protect their egos, right? Like, it's going to happen that mistakes are going to be made and the wrong calls are going to be made, and that we have the technology in place to fix it, and we just don't do it for archaic reasons. It makes no sense. So it's frustrating.
Just puts a damper on what was a pretty good game.
Yeah.
For Thursday stand.
So Vikings now sit at 5-2. The Rams climb to 3-4, and all of a sudden, the NFC West is looking pretty interesting. Another big, I guess, divisional power shift. The Baltimore Ravens rolled into Cleveland for the first post Jameis Winston game, or not Jameis Winston, sorry, Deshaun Watson game. And the Browns came to play, amped by a new quarterback and honoring the loss of longtime radio announcer Jim Donovan. The Browns shock the Ravens 29-24. I don't know if anybody saw this coming because of how bad the Browns have looked on offense. As it turns out, the quarterback was the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I mean, you got the full Jameis Winston experience in this game, right? You've got, like, pretty ridiculous numbers, 3 touchdowns. Somehow didn't throw an interception. Pretty sure he fumbled at one. Yeah, he did fumble at one point. And if you haven't seen any of Jameis's post or pre-game interviews,
oh my
holy
god,
shit, they are. He might as well be Reverend Jameis Winston at this point, because he was on one this week.
That man needs the goddamn captain patch on his jersey already.
Really,
in a different life,
he
that man would have been
genuinely
a
is one of the
preacher.
best leaders in the league.
Oh yeah. God, his quote that he said post game, which was, "There's a white boy from Detroit I really admire named Eminem," and then quoted "Lose yourself." Just the clarification of white boy, I think, really got me. Is the best part about it. But yeah, this was a huge win. Not only just for the where the franchise is, but like I'd mentioned, Jim Donovan had been the voice of the Browns since they returned in 1999, and had stepped away last year because of a battle with cancer, and he unfortunately passed away earlier this week. And you could tell that it really energized this team. And if you haven't heard the final play of this game called by Andrew Siciliano and God, I wish I could remember who was in the booth with him. It is electric. Because like that dude was the voice of the Browns. Like, as I've watched a lot of like NFL Network and NFL media stuff my whole life, and I've always loved his calls. And so like that was definitely I think one of the biggest motivating factors for this team. But on the other side, Ravens, what are we doing here?
I'm not too familiar with the Browns. Is he like their radio announcer, or is he like a PA guy, or
he was their radio guy. Yeah.
Okay.
Just go watch some Jim Donovan best calls after this podcast. You won't be disappointed. But yeah, fucking Ravens. You've now lost to the Browns and the Raiders in the same season.
But yet they've looked so dominant against some of the best teams in the league. Like, this might be the most bipolar team ever.
It really is. Yeah, it was just. I mean, this was the problem with them last year, where they just couldn't hold on to these games against teams that they were clearly better than. I think this is a better Ravens team, and obviously on any Sunday is a concept for a reason, but it's so hard to view them as like legit the best team in the league when they go and do this.
Yeah.
Because this was a moribund Browns team.
It's something I've noticed watching the Ravens over this season and last season. It's whenever the game's in their control, they're unstoppable. But whenever they have to make a play, like they did week 1 against the Chiefs, everybody just looks lost.
Yeah.
They have all that talent, but sometimes you need your players to step up beyond what they're capable of. And most of the time, that just doesn't work for the Ravens.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is. Like, it seems like it's a perpetual question, but like every time I look at their receivers, they don't really seem that deep there. Which I mean, they did make moves this week, which we'll get
More on
to.
that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Browns made Derrick Henry not much of a factor in this game, but at the same time, like Nick Chubb wasn't really much of a factor on their side. It was just, I think it just goes to show that like this was an explosive offense with Joe Flacco last year, and he exits stage left. All of a sudden, all of these receiving targets that they had disappear. Sean Watson exits stage left. Jameis Winston comes in, and all of a sudden, hey, look, Cedric Tillman had 99 yards. Hey, there's Elijah Moore and Jerry Jeudy, the guys that we just acquired this year. David Njoku. Oh yeah, you're pretty good. And all of a sudden, like this offense starts rolling again. And
even after trading Amari Cooper a couple weeks ago too.
Yeah, like imagine what this game would have been if Amari Cooper was still on the Browns.
Mm-hmm. This is not a bad Browns team. I think losing Deshaun Watson for the season is honestly one of the best things that could have happened to him. It's just like last year. Yeah. They're a good team with the worst quarterback of all time that they had to play. And now that they have even just an average quarterback, they're a good team.
And I have to be totally honest too. I know we Dunyan rings them already, and I know how much they've struggled, but yeah, they're still 2-6. But if they can come out and play like this every week and maybe rack off, 5-6 wins in a row and get themselves till around, 7-6, 8-6, they could potentially still sneak into a wild card spot with how weak the AFC is this year.
Yeah, I was ready to say like I think it's too little, too late, but when I look at the teams ahead of them right now,
they're not that good either.
Oh my God, the Ravens fell to the 6th seed because the Ravens are behind the Broncos in the playoff picture right now. What is going on?
That's what I mean. The AFC is like really weak this year.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not for the Patriots or other teams we'll talk about later, but I think for the Browns they have a chance here.
Yeah, I mean when I look at hang on, I'm gonna have to go on a little tangent about this in a second. But when I look at the teams that are ahead of them right now, right? Like, are they better than at this version of the Browns? Are they better than the Chargers? Probably.
They might be.
I would say so.
Colts?
Probably.
Maybe.
Bengals?
Well, actually, we'll answer the Colts after next week.
They barely lost to the Bengals with 3 different quarterbacks last week. Dolphins? They stink. Like, there is a path. And this quick tangent that I want to rant about real quick. So they have their playoff probability percentages for every single team, right? And so like the Chargers in 7th right now, 67%, Colts 36, Bengals 25, and then it drops off a cliff to the 10th place Dolphins at 5, Browns 4, Raiders 2, Jaguars 4, Patriots 3, Titans 3, Jets in 15th, 22% chance. Are you sure about that? So, yeah, it's crazy. Like, all of a sudden, we're like, man, Browns seem kind of cool, don't they? It's crazy how quickly that changes.
Yeah, I put all that energy into hating them in the first half of the season, and now they might go on a run, and that might bite me in the ass.
Yeah.
Good, suffer.
That's enough. Go back to the basement.
Dewey's the art gremlin in our sim.
Steven, you don't know what the basement looks like.
I'm a Pirates fan. You can't hurt me.
I could think of at least 5 different ways I could hurt you.
There's bludgeoning, there's stabbing, there's shooting.
There's watching the Titans
That's
because
Yeah.
they lost 52-14 to the Lions this week.
This team fucking sucks.
It's
Shit.
so
Oh
bad.
my god.
So this is a early contender for a game that makes no sense of the year. Jared Goff was 12 of 15 for 85 yards and 3 touchdowns, and they dropped 52 points. When they scored their 52nd point, Jared Goff was sitting at 55 yards, and they are the first team since the 1955 Bears with 50-plus points and under 100 pass yards. At half, they had 9 net passing yards. They were up 35-14. Now you might be thinking... Oh, good.
I wanted to point out as well, the Titans had 416 yards of offense.
Yeah, Mason Rudolph had like a pretty decent game.
They had 191 more yards than the Lions, 6 additional first downs, and controlled the time of possession by 11 minutes. And they lost by 38 points.
Yeah, so it doesn't show it on... oh, wait, actually, I know where to find it. You might think, like, oh, they were just running the ball like crazy. No, because, I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs had 127 yards. They ran for 160. It was special teams. This might be the worst special teams performance of all time. So I've got it pulled up here. Khalil Dorsey had 1 kick return for 72 yards. Khalif Raymond had 5 punt returns for 190 yards. That is an average of 38,
Oh my
including
god.
a touchdown.
90-yard touchdown return.
Just, like, how are you, like...
Remember
This
the thing about the 2010 Chargers, number 1
Yeah.
offense,
Yeah.
number 1 defense, the worst special teams? What if we get somebody to sweep the bottom 3 like this?
The Titans are trying.
I can't believe the Titans have won a game this year. I still
Did
believe
they-
in Mason Rudolph,
Who did they
but
beat?
like,
I already forgot.
this team is ugly.
Oh, it was
Who
the
did they-
Dolphins. That's right.
Yeah, they beat
Oh.
the Dolphins. the
Ugh.
week
Dear
before.
God.
All right, let's see. Who's got the least yards in general? Let's see. Oh, can I view? Who's got the least passing yards? It's the Titans. Who's got
Wow.
the least rushing yards in the NFL? It is the Cowboys. Damn it! The Titans are like 12th on that. How about defense? Who has the worst defense in the league?
Might be the Patriots.
It is... Wait a second. The Titans have the best pass defense in the league. Which I think a part of that is because Jared Goff didn't have to fucking do anything for a game. It looks like the worst passing defense in the league is the Baltimore Ravens.
That checks out, actually.
Yeah. And the worst rushing defense in the league is the Panthers. So big surprise
Yeah.
there. So the Titans have like a totally competent defense. They're top
They've
10
had
in
a good
rush
defense for
defense.
a few years now.
Yeah.
They've had a
Um,
solid unit, but the offense has just been stuck in the water since the end of 2021, really.
Yeah. It's just the Lions decided to break them in half in this game. Another little stat for the Lions offense. The last 5 games with Jared Goff under center, they have 24 offensive touchdowns and 19 incomplete passes. They are more likely to score than they are for a ball to hit the ground.
Dude.
This is the kind of shit that terrifies me as like if I'm not a Lions fan, because they can win every single way. Because they've already won like an offensive shootout. They've already won defensively, and now they can destroy you in special teams also.
Worth noting as well that all of this was done without the services of Jameis Williams because he was suspended for this game.
More on
Surely
that
that
later.
is the only thing that happened to Jameson Williams this week.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And of
Um,
course, another really, really great defensive performance after losing their best defensive player for the entire season. Like, this team is just a juggernaut where it's gonna take like a Herculean effort to actually stop them.
And Mahomes and the refs.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
true. Yeah, there's some Chiefs bullshit you got to deal with. Yeah, I'm planning on doing for next week's show like a halfway point Matt's power rankings. So just stay tuned where the Lions are on that.
We will boo you incessantly because it's our job.
Boo every single one.
Yeah, exactly. Panthers at 32. Boo, you suck.
Oh, come on! Now we're like, they're my power. They're mine. They're my rankings. Or I'm just doing the thing from like the Whitest Kids You Know cubicle sketch where he's like, I'm not finished, okay? Do you get that?
Oh, the Lions scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Thank God they're in the other conference.
Yeah, I was gonna say you might only have to see them in the Super Bowl because the
Yeah.
Steelers are going to be there. More on that
Oh
later.
man. So I only have to care about the NFC playoffs this year because the Steelers going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I get to see the Titans in 5 days.
Where are they coming to New England?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
God.
The Battle of Mid.
Oh no, it's in Tennessee. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Either way, fuck.
Yeah.
Speaking of another Battle of Mid,
Yeah.
the
AFC
Houston
South.
Texans defeated the Indianapolis Colts 23-20 on Sunday.
All right.
They won, but at what cost?
Oh man.
Yeah, so they do lose Stephon Diggs to a torn ACL in this game, from what had been a pretty promising season. Yeah, this Texans team, like their record's good. CJ Stroud is obviously very good, but they missed Nico Collins because this is not the worst game to panic after, like from how they performed, but just looking at their outlook, I don't see them being a like top flight team when it comes to playoff time, right? Like
No.
they obviously already beat the Bills, but I think if you line them back up again, like that was a weirdo game where Josh Allen was off for whatever reason. And if you
Probably
line them
getting
up
hit in the
against,
head.
yeah, if you line them up against the Chiefs or the Ravens or the Bills or any of these other powerhouses, I think the Texans have their work cut out for them.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about Anthony Richardson because
He was atrocious in this game.
Oh man.
he's been pretty goddamn bad this year.
Yeah.
And I have a stat line wrote down because it jumped out to me when I listened to it. So early in the game, he had a 69-yard touchdown pass. Nice. He ends up going 10 for 32 for 175 yards. However, at one point, excluding that touchdown run, God, I cannot talk right now. That 69-yard touchdown pass, not run, he was 1 for 14 with 12 yards and an interception.
Yeesh.
Like
Not great.
I know he's extremely inexperienced. He's only started like 29 games since high school, which is an insane number.
Mm-hmm.
He should not be playing right now.
No.
Well, more on that later.
Yeah.
But it's such a double-edged sword because like he has a lack of experience, but I don't think he should be playing. But then he's not going to get more experience doing that. But he's just completely out of his depth. And I think the thing that got him benched was, and I don't know if you guys saw this, he pulled himself out of the game for a play because he was tired.
Oh
I
yeah.
did see that.
And it was just truly bizarre. And you have guys like Brian Baldinger, who's been around forever, straight up saying he's like, I've never seen a player do that before. Or I've never seen a quarterback do that. Like, come on, dude. Like, you are this physical, athletic freak, and you're like, sorry, guys, I gotta catch my breath, hang on. It's like, no, you're the fucking starting quarterback. I don't know, hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor and let him do his thing.
I think it's going to be a good decision to let him sit and let him learn because he needs to learn. And I don't think getting NFL reps is the way to do it.
No, and I mean, he's such a raw player still. It's a lot like the early Josh Allen stuff where it's just like basic short passes he can't complete.
Yeah.
He has a cannon of an arm. He has all the physical talents, but he can't play. And it sucks because like you don't want to see somebody with this much talent flop, but like it's clear through 7 or 8 games that he's probably hit about 10 starts now, but it's clear that he's just not an NFL caliber quarterback right now.
Yeah. I think that'll change in time if he's given the right opportunities to learn with a veteran in front of him, which I think, again, is the right move moving forward. Giving him something to learn from. Because really, quarterbacks aren't learning the way they used to. You just plug them in and you hope they work, and if they don't work, you get another one. And I think you have to develop your quarterbacks to be pro ready at this point because colleges aren't doing that. I think you have to let him sit and you have to let him get better just because you know what he's capable of. You just need to rein him in.
Yeah, exactly.
Just leave it to the Colts to fuck this up again.
Dude, there was I think it's Urinating Trees video where he points out, he's like, the Colts have been handed generationally hyped quarterback prospects over and over and over and over again, and they just like blow it every time. Because it was John Elway, and Elway was like, fuck no, I ain't playing for you guys. And then he ended up not panning out, but everybody was like losing their shit over Jeff George in the 90s. Like maybe one of the most purely talented throwers of the football ever. And he flopped there. And then it was Peyton Manning, and they won a Super Bowl, but you look at how many more they should have won. And then it was Andrew Luck, and we all know how that happened. And now you have this like freak of nature athletically in Anthony Richardson, and you look at all the injuries that he's had across a season and a half so far. And it's like, you can't blow this a 5th time, you know?
Yeah, it's like what we were talking about at the beginning of the season. It starts at the top, like what happened with Washington, and it's just going to stay at the top until they manage to find somebody that can run the ship the right way.
Yeah. It really seems like like I don't like most of the leaders or owners that suck are like total control freaks and meddle with everything.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that Jim Irsay's always gotten credit for was his dad was that type of owner, and that's why the Colts stunk for so long. And ever since he took over owning the team, he's been very hands-off, except for when there was the whole Matt Ryan, Jeff Saturday debacle, right?
Oh, God.
And that was when he's like seemingly lost his mind for about 6 months and started like sticking his fingers and everything, and then has gone back to just being hands-off. And I almost like, I don't know, maybe he's too hands-off at this point. So, who knows? Yeah, that's about all I had to say for that. So
That again, AFC South football.
Yeah, might as well get them all out of the way. Because the Green Bay Packers beat the Jags 30-27 on their return stateside. I don't know. This one felt different. This one didn't feel as crushing of a loss for the Jags. Partially because it was a last-second field goal. Trevor Lawrence gave the typical Trevor Lawrence performance where you have a couple moments of like, dog, what are you doing? And then you're like, oh, okay, never mind. This guy kind of fucking rules. The biggest story, though, was Jordan Love broke his dick in this game, and Malik Willis had to come in. I'm sorry, I can't see groin injury on the injury report and not be like, oh, he broke his dick. Damn, that sucks, man.
Fell off. It's sitting on the field right there.
But also worth noting, too, that like Malik Willis, yet again, has been put in a very difficult and demanding situation, and he performed up to task once again.
Oh, yeah, there was on the final drive of this game, I don't know if you guys saw Matt LaFleur talk about this, but there was this like bootleg rollout pass to the right that he completed. And LaFleur talked about it afterwards, and he was like, yeah, that's a play that we've practiced, but it wasn't in the game plan. And we talked about it beforehand because they had run the like non-pass version of it earlier in the game. And here's another weird thing. Jason Vrabel, I believe is his name, the wide receivers coach. Now you might be thinking, hang on, he's got to be related to Mike, especially since Matt LaFleur is from Mike Vrabel's coaching tree. No, they've never met. They're unrelated. There's just somehow another Vrabel out there in football
What
that's
the
not
fuck?
related to Mike Vrabel. Yeah,
It's spelled another way.
yeah. It's just like when
It's
you hear that,
complete-
you're like,
he's
like
a-
no fucking way.
He's a poser.
Yeah. But they basically, told Malik that like it's an option, and Malik audibled into that, and then fucking executed it perfectly. So just to kind of rub it into the Titans more, like this was a dude who, a lot like Anthony Richardson, was like, wow, this guy's an athletic freak, but he can't play football at a pro level. And then Matt LaFleur is like, oh, hang on, all we do is create Hall of Famers. Get him in here.
They can't keep getting away with it.
Yet, obviously, Jordan Love is the future and will continue to be the future for the Packers. But, like, I think at the end of this year, somebody might be willing to take a look at Malik Willis and saying, hey, maybe this guy could be our future, and just trade for him and see what they can do with him. Like, a team I'm
worth
thinking
a
of for
shot.
that, I think he'd be a perfect fit for the Rams. Because I don't think Matthew Stafford's got much longer. Maybe 2 more years. I could see Malik Willis becoming a successful quarterback with the Rams, especially if they can keep Kupp and Nakul long term.
Oh yeah, somebody's gonna trade for him
At some point.
Also, speaking of the Packers keep getting away with this, have you guys ever seen Brett Favre's backup quarterbacks list?
Nuh-uh.
It is insane. So here's the list of quarterbacks. Don Mikowski, who was a pretty good quarterback, or had like one great season, and then he was the guy who Favre replaced. Ty Detmer, Heisman winner. Mark Brunell, pretty goddamn good quarterback. Jim McMahon, Super Bowl winner. Doug Peterson, future Super Bowl winning head coach. Matt Hasselbeck, pretty goddamn good quarterback. Kurt Warner, Aaron Brooks, another good journeyman. Danny Werfel, a Heisman winner. Aaron Rodgers, and then some other nobodies. But like fucking Kurt Warner, Matt Hasselbeck, and Mark Brunell. Like that is a pretty goddamn good trio of quarterbacks, and they all just backed up Brett Favre during the 90s.
They got to have something in the water in Green
Yeah.
Bay. They can't keep getting away with it.
It's something in the cheese, I'm telling you.
They're injecting the cheese with steroids.
There was a fucking 5 Points Vids video where he was talking about like every NFL stadium, and he had like a joke about there being like a pipeline that pumps liquid cheese into Lambeau's field, and I was like, honestly, I believe it. It's
That's how
Wisconsin.
they keep
I've
the
been
field
there.
warm.
Yeah. I've been to Wisconsin. That seems right.
Somebody
It's-
takes a hard enough cut, and you just see Velveeta draining on their cleat.
Yeah, it's like those heated blankets that you can buy, but like underneath the field, it's just this like massive like Olympic-sized pool of queso.
Yeah.
That's just super heated to keep the field warm at all times.
That's
If
where
I
Jimmy Hoffa's buried.
true.
In the cheese.
He's in the cheese cave.
The Lambeau cheese tub.
Yeah, if I know one thing about Wisconsin, it's they make cheese and water parks, and that's what they're
And
really
beer.
good at. And beer. And
As
Hall of Fame
God
quarterbacks.
intended.
I've told you guys the Queso Cerveza story before.
I think so.
Anyway, football.
Football.
But yeah, Jordan Love gets hurt. Malik Willis comes in, plays pretty goddamn well. Yeah, I mean the Jags aren't going anywhere. They're 2-6.
All hope is not lost. I mean, it looked like Doug Peterson was losing the locker room, but they weren't as bad this time around.
Yeah. I mean, they've had good games. It's just, like a lot of them, they've been on the wrong side of them, but they've had a few too many games, like their first one in London, where it was like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And I think they're in the same boat as the Browns, where like if they can get something going with a weak conference, but unlike the Browns, the Jags' upcoming schedule is extremely unfavorable to them. Like, it's already been rough enough for them. They've got the Eagles, Vikings, Lions, and Texans the next 4 weeks.
Ugh.
So they could be. I mean, if they could get their shit together and win, maybe they could be 5-7 by the end of that. They could also be 2-10 by the end of that. Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, just a little history lesson. Doug Pearson's first season, they started at 2-6, and then they made the playoffs. So you never know.
say never.
But yeah. Anyway,
It's 6-2 Packers. Leapfrogged the Vikings this week. So, and they're only a half game back of the Lions, and they play each other this upcoming week. So, potential home playoff game implications now with how these things are going.
oh yeah.
Getting a little spicy.
Hell yeah.
A game that also had surprising playoff implications was the Arizona Cardinals coming back against the listless Miami Dolphins.
Chad Ryland did it again.
Continuing to prove you wrong.
He also hit from 57 in this game. Like, he left the Patriots and just figured out how to kick footballs again.
All right, I'm gonna start trying now.
Yeah.
And
with the win, they've also entered themselves into a 3-way tie for first in the NFC West.
Bro just really hated the Patriots. He was trying to be a sleeper agent.
Yeah, like Juju Smith-Schuster was
Yeah.
last year.
yeah, yeah. The Cardinals are currently in the playoffs right now. I might add, they are the 4 seed.
At 4-4?
Yeah. Yep. The Cardinals, Niners, and Seahawks are all 4-4, and the Rams are 3-4.
Oh god.
And with the Dolphins losing, the Bills are 4 games clear of everybody else in the AFC East.
I'd like to point out, it is week 8.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Um,
Dolphins, through 7 games, have still not gotten to 100 points on the season.
What are they at now?
97.
Oh.
They're gonna score a safety this week. Just watch.
They lost with 27 points. This was their first game all season scoring more than 17.
Oh god,
Yeah.
they play the Bills next week.
the Bills
Oh no.
This
I've
is
already
the game in
broken them in
Buffalo
half.
too.
Oh, God. Yeah, so like they obviously looked way better with Tua back in the lineup. Up 13-7 at halftime, up 20-18 going into the fourth quarter. It just came down to, like you mentioned, a Chad Ryland game-winning field goal at the end. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to rule out anybody in the AFC fully. But I don't know if this is going to be too little too late for the Dolphins.
Dolphins
I
are
just don't
done.
think they looked better on offense, but I just don't think they're a very good team,
I
unfortunately.
think you could rule out everybody in the AFC East besides the Bills at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly,
This
yeah.
division is a toxic wasteland.
It really is. Like, it really is just the return of, like, the 2000s AFC East, except you just swapped the Patriots and Bills.
Yeah, it feels
Because-
like it's like 2006 all over again.
Does that mean the Patriots are getting JP Losman?
Oh,
He's coming back!
Oh,
God, who
hell.
was it who posted a JP Losman, like, highlight the other day? in
Probably
here?
Probably
Jack.
Jack.
Jack's been on a friend of the program. Jack has been on a big Lee Evans kick the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
What?
We were doing Petit Le Mans, and he came in and he was drunk off his ass talking about Lee Evans,
Who's
And
Lee
then-
Evans?
the
You-
wide
what?
receiver for the Bills. In the
You've
2000s.
never heard of Lee Evans?
Dude,
Dude had a
did
great
you just
career.
ask me if I've heard of a Bills player from the 2000s?
I did, but he was
You
a very
don't know
good one.
ball, evidently.
Clearly not.
Dog, I didn't start really fucking watching football until like 2008.
You didn't even know
That's
who
your
Todd
fault.
Heap was either.
Why would I know who he is?
Put some respect on Todd Heap's name, damn it.
Aren't
No.
remembering enough guys.
You're not.
Name one thing about the Bills in the fucking terrible jersey era of the 2000s.
They were
They were
fucking
coached by-
ugly.
They were
Yeah.
coached by Greg Williams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, nothing notable happened to the Bills between the years 2000 and 2014.
And I'm doing
Anyway.
the math in my head. No, you're right. You're right.
See? They sat out the entire Bush and Obama administrations without making the playoffs. Like,
They're bored. Didn't feel like it for a while.
Also, why is Jack on fucking... Jack was like just born when fucking Lee Evans was drafted. I'm gonna take this shit.
I mean, it's Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, what the fuck were we talking? Oh yeah, Cardinals, Dolphins.
Cardinals, Dolphins.
To get us back on track, let's do the Greg Dortch update.
Cause he is Greg George, short king, proud of Glendale's football team, scoring all the touchdowns for you, punt return man, kickoffs too, he's Greg Dortch.
Greg Dortch, 1 reception for 9 yards.
That's pretty good. That's almost a first down.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that was
Did
the
he
Greg
return
Dortch
any
update.
kicks?
He did not.
Oh, damn.
He's too valuable. They can't waste him on that.
But the song says that he does that.
Well, at the time he did.
Yeah, but he still does, but he used to, too.
God damn it. Anyway, that was Cardinals, Dolphins, whatever they're called.
And
Yeah,
now
just
for the
football.
best game of the week.
Let's talk about the funniest game of the week.
Yeah.
The New York Jets. They fired their head coach. They were on a losing streak. They fired their head coach. That didn't work. They traded for Devontae Adams. That didn't work. Now they finally got Hassan Reddick into the building. That also didn't work. Patriots 25, Jets 22. This team fucking sucks.
The Jets have their highest expectations in 25 years. The Patriots have their lowest expectations in 25 years. And through week 8, they are both 2-6.
There is a Dan Hansis tweet that I gotta pull up. And I retweeted it earlier. Dan Hansis, lifelong Jets fan, has been openly saying he's on a break from the Jets right now, even before this week. And all he said was, "Rest in peace, 2024 New York Jets. A spineless, unlikable, underachieving misfit team for the ages." I think that sums it up perfectly.
Well, I have a stat that sums it up perfectly. In the entire 100 and whatever year history of the NFL, right? Teams are 750-1, including playoff games, when they have scored 20 or more points, they have not turned the ball over, and allowed fewer than 250 yards. The one was the Jets on Sunday.
Dude, I'm going to reference another show too. The Three Guys and a Bear Talk About Football show. Great show. One of the guys on there is also a diehard Jets fan, and the thing he always says, he's like, the Jets can't just lose. They have to lose in literally historic fashion. And I think
Good.
This summed it up perfectly.
Well, not only that, though, Drake May got hurt in this game. The Drake May injury I've been fearing all season when they put him in happened. He got a concussion, so he left the game in the second quarter, and they somehow managed to let Jacoby Brissett go down the field on a 2-minute drive to end the game and score a touchdown for the win. Jacoby Brissett, the guy that had sucked major shit for the first 4 games, that got benched for a guy that had never played before, they let him march down the field to win.
I would like to point out that Greg Zuerlein missed both the field goal and an extra point in this game.
Good.
Genuinely, it was his fault that they lost this game. If you have a competent kicker, they win that game.
Yep.
It is so funny to see the Jets fall apart again. This is like the 5th or 6th time in my life that the Jets have fallen apart, and every single time it's funny.
It's up there. Actually, this might be worse than the 2011 Jets, in terms of just collapses.
Well, I saw them compared to the 2011 Eagles the other day, too.
Oh, that's
all
a good
the different
yeah.
great pieces they brought in. But, the 2011 Eagles at least had their flashes and their moments, and they finished 8-8. This team is not making it to 8-9 or 9-8. They're not.
just completely mortgaged their future for Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is doing worse than
They were
Who was
4-4 at this point
Zach
last
Wilson.
year with Zach Wilson, and they're
Oh.
2-6 now with a top 5 quarterback of all time, as only the Jets could. Like,
I can't help but
this
think
is-
what this is going to do to Rodgers' legacy. Dude with one ring that immediately goes and collapses an entire team for the hell of it.
Well, I want to bring that up too. I think it was it the interim coach said something about the team being in darkness or something because of how just bad they're playing and everything. And they
Yeah.
asked Aaron Rodgers about it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you just got to go and make peace with it." No, you don't make peace with that. It's football. What? It's fucking football. If you suck, you play better.
Oh my
You don't make peace with the fact that you suck.
to
You
win
get better.
the game.
Hello?
Either
You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
I've got that one right on the fucking Steam Deck.
What more do we have to say?
and look at that. The more time goes on, the more things stay the same because that was Herm Edwards while he was on the Jets. And it still applies 20 years later.
There was an anecdote from last week's game that we didn't talk about because I hadn't heard about it until later in the week, where after the Jets lost, it was Davante Adams, who had just fucking arrived in New York, was the one giving the post-game speech trying to rally everybody and to win the next game, and everybody was the reporting is oh, this guy's already taken a leadership role, and everybody's like, where's the fucking franchise quarterback in that scenario?
Good on Davante Adams because he's always been that kind of guy, but
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is the guy that should be doing that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, my kind of theory that I have with this team is you look back at last year's Jets, and despite what happened in week 1, which was borderline a tragedy when you consider the hype around that season and everything.
Yeah.
And the fact that despite everything, that team rallied around Zach Wilson. And there's a play that really stuck with me, which was that Chiefs game where he genuinely outplayed Patrick Mahomes, and Zach Wilson had that scramble for a 2-point conversion. And despite how fucking done everybody on that team seemed with him after his rookie year, one of his own linemen literally picked him up and hoisted him in the air after that scramble. And it really spoke to how that team, despite everything, really stayed together. And guys like Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall became the leaders of this team. And you were building this solid young core of likable players for this team to rally around and build around. And now it's oh, but Aaron Rodgers and all his friends are here now. And Rodgers is just constantly bad vibes, and nothing against Davante Adams, but he hasn't been there for this team. He should not be the one who's fucking standing up in the locker room and trying to rally everybody. Fucking Alan Lazard was a complete no-show last season, and he's only there because of Rodgers. Hassan Reddick has been I think I obviously support him holding out. Pay the fucking dude. Should have never gotten to this fucking point.
Mm-hmm.
Now he rejoins the team, and it's well, he's not going to be a leader because he's just been holding out on the team for fucking 8 weeks. This is such oh, and also you fired the head coach, who I don't know if Robert Saleh was a great coach, but people really, really like him. He's a good dude.
He's a defensive coach. He
Well,
built
not
their defense.
Well, not
Yeah.
only that, but the Jets' defense has gotten noticeably worse over the last 3 weeks since he left.
Sauce Gardner has been a complete fucking liability. He was the best corner in football as a rookie last year, and he has been a liability this year. It's wild. It's just nothing but bad vibes now. I can't believe it. Way to go, Jets.
And it's outrageously funny.
I
Yeah.
saw a clip of, I think it was Damian Woody on ESPN, and he had said that the Jets aren't a team. He said they're a roster, but they're not a cohesive team. And the more I watch them, the more I agree with it. It's a
That is
bunch
such
of
perfect
really
way to describe
great.
them. Yeah.
It's a great, talented roster from top to bottom, but none of them gel together and can play 60 consecutive, consistent minutes to win a football game. And it's,
Yeah.
I don't know what they do now. Because like Aaron Rodgers is going to be 41 in a month. Like he doesn't have that much time left. What the fuck are they going to do at this point moving
You
forward?
ride out his contract and then you tear it down to the studs and you rebuild it again.
Which
God.
you
It's
know
an
what?
infinite process until they
But you
heat
know
death
what?
of the
That's
universe.
really funny.
Yes, it is.
Because now
I-
again through week 8, the Pats are not last in the AFC East anymore. For at least
is-
1 week, we're back in third.
What is Rogers' contract? Oh God,
They paid him a lot.
that's a lot of money. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, he
I
has like a
almost think-
25 million hit next year.
you might you might just eat it and cut him and draft a rookie. Honestly,
I was thinking, like, yeah, the way the Browns could potentially go that way with Watson, I think the Jets could potentially do that with Aaron Rodgers.
yeah. I mean, Devonte Adams is a free agent at the end of this year. He's probably going to want to, try to play for a contender.
He wanted away from the Raiders because he wanted to play for a contender, and he went to a team that sucks just as bad. I kind of feel bad for him. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, yeah, I do feel because I really like Devonte Adams.
Yeah.
I felt so bad that it was like he got lured into basically a trap with the Raiders, and then they fucking got rid of everybody that he wanted.
And
to
he
be
went there
with.
for.
Yeah, and then they're like, "No, we're not going to fucking trade you. Why would we do that?" And then he's like, "Fine, I'm just going to go hang out with my other friend again." And then Aaron Rodgers is like, "Oh man, this is terrible."
Well,
the head coach is gone.
Just,
But-
I'm trying to think of how this could get even funnier for the Jets. It has to get worse for the Jets, but how does it get worse?
Aaron Rodgers tearing his other Achilles, and then having to
God.
play Tyrod Taylor the rest of the year.
Is that really their backup?
Yeah.
Oh man.
God. Yeah, I just don't know where you go if you're the Jets from here because you tried firing the coach, you changed the play caller, you got his favorite weapon, you got a new a guy on defense, and you keep losing.
And his offensive coordinator, who still apparently can't read a rule or playbook properly half the time.
Yeah.
Like Nathaniel Hackett might as well be walking around with a fucking Waffle House menu for half these damn games.
Well, they
How he fucking
demote.
calls
He's not the
stuff.
play caller anymore. They demoted.
Yeah,
him.
they took his play calling duties away.
Dear God.
They're at the beginning of a rebuild when they were supposed to be trying. I've never seen a rebuild fail this hard.
Well, it also makes me much happier because at the beginning of the year when we were doing our preview show, I predicted that the Jets were not going to make the playoffs.
You did. You called your shot.
I am so happy that it's week 8 and we're here and this is where they are in the standings. Oh, baby.
Like even 3-5, you'd be like, yeah, kind of off to a rocky start, but you're starting to see. No, they're 2-6.
Yeah, the Chicago White Sox, who just had the worst modern MLB season ever, have still won a game more recently than the Jets have.
Ugh.
Ricky Stenhouse has won more recently than the New York Jets.
God. Carlos Sainz has won more recently. God.
Well, that's true for 28 teams, something like that.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
shut up.
You know,
Numbers.
still.
Way to go, Jets.
And
JETS
Couldn't have happened to a
suck,
better
suck.
team.
No.
Yeah, and, of course, the Jets, who have as many division wins as they do wins this year in the last 50 years.
Oh my god.
Like, they have won the AFC East twice since 1969.
Wait, okay, it was.
There
I know
have been
02
more people that have walked on the moon since then than the Jets have division wins.
They finally something lower than the number of Steelers head coaches in that time span.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, because it was 02, and then the
And
other one was
98.
90. Oh my god, I forgot about 98. I was gonna say I thought it was like one of the Richard Todd years, like the
I
one
was
time they
thinking one of the Mark
randomly got to the
Sanchez
AFC
years.
Championship.
And their only other two were 68 and 69. So they have been this is their 65th year and they've won their division 4 times.
They have the same number of division titles as Ricky Stenhouse's Cup wins.
So with the Jets average a division win once every 16 years.
It's like the cicadas.
Yeah. Like
The-
if your division rival has more Super Bowl wins than you do division wins, you need to just pack it up and go home and stop trying.
Well,
Like-
hang on, weren't the Jets good when they were in the AFL?
No.
No, they weren't.
No.
Their only playoff appearance in the AFL was the year they beat the Colts in the Super Bowl.
Oh,
They won the
that's what
AFL
made it-
championship and then beat the Colts. They had
So
never made
clearly
the
the
AFL
problem-
playoffs before that.
clearly the problem is the Super Bowl, and we need to get rid of Super Bowl, and then the Jets will
Exactly.
be good.
Wow.
Yeah, the Jets have not
Yeah.
appeared in a championship game since the Lyndon B. Johnson administration.
I also just learned that the Jets now have the longest championship drought in New York professional sports as of this year. They passed the Rangers drought from the 40s to the 90s.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
And with the win, the Pats are 25-6 against the Jets since 2010.
Dude, I swear that
We own them, man.
New York sports is like paying a karmic debt for the Yankees because every other New York team blows ass. Like the Mets, they are the Jets of baseball, right? The
Mets is the
Rangers are the
Mets.
worst original six team. We know the story of the Islanders. We know the Jets and the Giants. The Knicks are, perpetually disappointing.
And the Nets
God.
have never won a championship.
Yeah.
Oh, one other thing, actually. I know we have the Giants game still, but this is a stat that involves both of them. So, Notre Dame played against Navy on Saturday, and that game was played at MetLife Stadium. And Notre Dame won that game 51-14 after scoring 7 touchdowns in that game. Notre Dame, in that one game, scored more touchdowns in MetLife Stadium than the Jets and Giants combined in their 7 home games there this year.
Oh my god. Just absurd. So, yeah, way to go, Jets.
Love it.
Guess we're gonna move to another divisional game, the NFC South, where the Atlanta Falcons beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 31-26.
Wow.
Kirk Cousins just has Todd Bowles' number, as it turns out. Last
Yeah.
time they played, what was it, like 500 yards of offense? This one, 4 touchdown passes, 2 of them to Kyle Pitts.
He's been listening.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts, fan of the show. The Bucks kept this is a thing that the Bucks do where they play really good for 3 quarters and then for 1 quarter Baker Mayfield just kind of forgets how to play football because he threw 2 really bad interceptions in the third quarter.
Great game besides those, though.
Doesn't
Oh,
help
yeah.
losing literally his entire receiving core.
Yeah,
prior to
and
this
that
game.
they were definitely feeling the absence of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And I mean, to their credit, he spread the ball around everywhere. K. Dotton's been a really good target for him. He had 9 receptions for 81 yards. But the names of the guys Baker was completing passes to: Raheem Jarrett, Bucky Irving, Rashad White, Jalen McMillan, Trey Palmer, Ryan Miller, Sterling Shepard, and Sean Tucker. Everybody who caught the ball had double-digit yards, so he was just spreading it around to everybody.
I think Kate Otten's got a legit Pro Bowl case this year with how he's been playing.
Oh yeah, he's been. I mean, he was good for them last year too, and I mean now with Godwin and Evans out, he is definitely going to shine. But yeah, this was
all a problem.
Yeah, and this is a huge win though for the Falcons because they are now a game up and they've swept the Bucks this year, and these are the only 2 teams in the South that look worth a damn. So
And they've already beaten the Saints and the Panthers once, so the Falcons are they're 5-3, but they're 4-0 in the division already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They control their own destiny at this point.
Yeah, and so if you're the Bucks, you got to look at it well, you either got to find a way to beat them by a game or find a way to topple the Eagles and Bears in the standings. It seems like. So it's gonna be
the Bucks
tough.
beating the Eagles already certainly helps, but
Yeah. Oh yeah.
still not ideal.
Yeah. This I will say that like this game almost took a wild swing on Kyle Pitts' second touchdown when Antoine Winfield like knocked the ball out of his hand like on the goal line. It was hard, like it was too close to overturn, but and I think he did crack the end zone with the ball too, but like it was really close to like that making a huge difference in Kyle Pitts being you know, I don't want to say laughing stock, that's not the term I'm looking for, but like went from like, hey, he's having a great breakout game to you blew it almost. So yeah, I don't know if you guys watched this game at all. It was very frustrating as a Baker fan.
Yeah.
I think it's encouraging that the Bucks did manage to score this much despite the absence of Godwin and Evans, but their next two games are as tough as they get.
Oh yeah.
And I think they're at least gonna need to split those two, I think, if they want to actually make the playoffs.
Yeah, and when I think about, you know, because last year they had this too where they got out to a hot start and then went into a lull in the midseason and then got back on track again. But
they weren't injured when they got back on track, though, is the problem.
Yeah, and you know, not only that, like they were able to split games with the Falcons, so you know, a tiebreaker could go their way. Now they're in a much worse position than they were last season. And on the Falcons side, like, you know, Kirk Cousins, he's still not moving great, but like you're finally starting to see what this team is supposed to be. I don't know if they're a contender, but they can, when it's convenient, they can score seemingly at will now.
And they're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good roster. It's just they remember they're the Falcons sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, that is a major problem. They still are the Falcons. Yeah. So yeah. Falcons moved 5-3, Bucks fall 4-4.
Still a lot to play for. It's just one game.
Oh yeah. I guess I don't really have a transition to this. The Eagles beat the Bengals 37-17. Are the Bengals bad?
I think so.
I think they're bad.
I think we might have also been shitting on the Eagles a bit too much.
I'm gonna keep shitting on the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bengals are 0-4 at home.
That is absurd.
That's weird.
Which, speaking of home wins, I did forget to mention as well before that by beating the Jets, the Pats also had their first home win in over a calendar year.
Oh God.
So that was very cool. But yeah, now the Bengals are 3-5, bottom of the or not bottom, but not top either, and winless in the confines of what should be their friendly home. So I don't know what their outlook for the season is, but it ain't good.
For a team that's mostly healthy, they've got their shit together. They just can't score. I don't get it.
Well, their defense blows ass too.
Yeah, their defense is awful.
They can't run the ball. That's a big problem.
Losing Jesse Bates was a huge factor in how their defense is playing this year. He was like the glue that held that whole unit together.
Yeah, they're missing T. Higgins too.
Again,
that's been a huge loss for them. Yeah, just to point out, like the three teams that they've beat are the Panthers, the Giants, and the Browns, and like it's not a particularly great set of teams to have your wins against.
They've got the Raiders next, which can help them get back on track, probably. But
if
they also
win.
beat the Ravens, so
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean they jumped out to an early lead in this game and then just had absolutely no answer for the Eagles in the second half. And this was like for what's been, like their record's 5-2. I think the Eagles are a good team, but there's been this underlying sense of, like unease with this team. Doesn't help that their fucking coach is like a roid raging freak at times.
More on talking to fans later.
Yeah. But this was like one of their first like truly great offensive performances of the season. Jalen Hurts looked like he was back in his prime form again. Saquon Barkley had another big game. Devonta Smith and AJ Brown are still one of the best, receiver tandems in the league. And when they're rolling an offense, their pass rush can just tee off on the Bengals, and there's not much they could really do after that. So, and I mean, it's turnovers too, right? That's a big part too. When the Eagles don't turn it over at all, and the Bengals do it twice, like that's going to swing the game in the complete opposite direction.
I've got the Eagles drive summary here. Cincinnati started with the ball and they scored a touchdown. And the Eagles scored a field goal. Then they punted. Touchdown, 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 field goal, touchdown, field goal. Like, it's just an incredibly efficient offense.
Yeah. And this is what they were doing through, the first 10 weeks of last season when they were undefeated. So, yeah, I mean, the Eagles have felt like they are one collapse away from, or like one bad loss away from complete implosion. But if they keep stacking wins like this, then I don't think when they lose a game they should win, that I don't think people are going to freak out like, say, the Falcons game, Yeah.
They're a good team. It's just a matter of how much they can get through before Sirianni tears them apart.
Yeah. So, yeah. And that was Eagles, Bengals. I can't speak.
I'm mad they didn't tie again.
Dude. Okay, yeah, I gotta point out, this might be the first time in Oofsides history where we picked differently and we're all wrong. Because we had 2 Bengals picks and a tie. Nobody picked the Eagles. So, I guess we'll move on to Los Angeles, where both LA teams won this week. The Chargers beat the Saints 26-8.
This game was 2-0 after the first quarter.
Hang on.
I would like to point out the score summary of this game, starting at 2-0, then 3-2, then 9-2 because Cameron Dicker missed an extra point, then 9-5, then 16-5, and then they finally got back to normality with a field goal.
9-5. Has that ever happened before?
It has to.
I have the scoregami board pulled up right now. 9-5 has happened twice before. First time, 1978, Redskins beat the Cowboys 9-5, and then the Colts beat the Jets in 1984 9-5.
Of course they did.
26-8 has happened 2 times previously as well. It was the Patriots beat the Bills in 1963, Good. The Dolphins beat the Colts in 1978, and now the Chargers beat the Saints. So that's your scoregami update.
I'd like to point out the starting quarterback matchup for that Colts-Jets game had Pat Ryan under center for the Jets and Mike Pagel for the Colts.
Hell yeah. The Pagel boss.
Yeah, and the Saints had Spencer Rattler benched in this game. We got a Jake Haener appearance, and he wasn't much better.
Dude,
Saints are fucked.
It is insane how fast this team fell off. Like, what the fuck happened in the first 2 weeks?
They're really doing the 2013 Texans all over again, like I mentioned last week. It's actually ridiculous.
They've now lost 6 in a row. And I mean, they beat the Panthers week 1 and a not good Cowboys team in week 2. I'm looking at their schedule. If they lose to the Panthers, I think Greg Williams gets fired. Or not Greg Williams. Dennis Allen gets fired. Just fire Greg Williams too while you're at it.
Well, I'm really curious to see that now because I don't think Derek Carr is going to be back for this game. Like, if this is a Spencer Rattler or Jake Haener versus Bryce Young or Andy Dalton, this might be one of the worst quarterback matchups in a game ever.
Could really have one game determine the future of either of these franchises.
This game could legitimately end, I think, like 3-2.
6-1, make it happen.
Okay, but imagine like those MLB trade deadlines where sometimes a player will get traded to the team they're playing. Imagine at halftime the Panthers decide they're finally done with Bryce Young, and the Saints decide they're done with Spencer Rattler, and they just switch locker rooms at halftime and suit up for the other team for the second half.
Oh my god. Make it happen.
It's like a fucking wife swap, but for the NFL.
God, it just... Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw also, they re-signed Alvin Kamara this week. Like, that was the ultimate, like, hey guys, remember Alvin Kamara? He's still really good, right? Like, forget about what happened against the Broncos. Like, remember when we were really good?
Yeah. Yeah, this team just blows ass.
Yeah. On the other side, props to the Chargers coaching staff for finally allowing Justin Herbert to be good again. That's fun.
About fucking time.
You can do
279 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, back-to-back really good games from him.
As it turns out, when you have a generational talent at quarterback, you should probably let him do his thing. You know?
I would like to give a shout out to Joe Alt. Their rookie they just drafted this season on the offensive line has been a fucking stud.
Hell yeah.
I've wanted to say this all year, but he got his best PFF grade so far this week with a 76. No sacks, no hits, no pressures. Dude's really fucking good.
He is going to be a cornerstone of that franchise for the next decade. Like
Yeah,
I see him like I see Joe Thomas.
Yeah, he is probably one of the best offensive line talents in the league right now as a rookie.
Also helps that Lad McConkey had his breakout game.
Yeah.
In this game,
Let's
111 yards, 2 tutties. Like, if the Chargers can play like this every week, I mean, I think they're in a playoff spot right now, but like to solidify it and maybe move up a couple of spots.
They are currently the 7th seed, yeah.
Like, maybe if they can get themselves, I don't know, maybe up to the 5 by the end of the year, if they can keep this up. I don't think they're going to catch the Chiefs in the division by any means, but, you know, maybe they can turn a corner, perhaps, for a franchise that's needed a corner turn for the good for a while.
Yeah, and like as much shit as I've given them for like being such a run-centric team, like obviously you want that strong running game come January football. But like you mentioned with Joe Alt, like I saw a lot of Chargers fans who were upset about that because there were so many good receivers on the board, and it's like, yeah, like obviously when you let Keenan Allen and Mike Williams go, like, you know, they are feeling this lack of receiver talent, but a guy like Joe Alt's going to make everybody in the offense look good, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a guy who's going to be a franchise cornerstone for the next decade.
Yeah.
And
like
O-linemen that good don't just pop up randomly.
Yeah,
No.
You have to take your shot. Receivers are a dime a dozen at this point. You can go outside and there's probably one, you know, sitting a block away.
Yeah, they got McConkey in the second round this year.
Yeah, there are so many good receivers coming out of college every year that, like, when you have a guy like Joe Alt, you got to take that guy. You know?
Yeah. With such a lack of talent on the line these days, that's might end up being the steal of the draft when we look back in a few.
Yeah, for sure. So the Chargers advanced 4-3. The Saints continue their slide, 6 losses in a row after 2 offensive explosions to start the season. Yikes.
The Saints have been this bad, but they've still scored 60 more points than the Panthers this year and have allowed 65 less points.
Good God. More on that later.
Yeah.
Another team that got out to a hot start and is now feeling it is the Seattle Seahawks because they lose to the Bills 31-10. This was bad. The Seahawks are just a mess right now.
They needed Metcalf bad in this game, and he was not there.
Yeah. For reference, the Seahawks had 1 rushing yard at half. Rushing yard. There's also a terrible point in this game. I believe it was in the second quarter where they were on the goal line. Yeah, it was here, I've got it pulled up right here. So they were on the Buffalo 2 and on they had a delay of game, and they also had a fumbled snap that forced it to 4th and 20 from the Buffalo 20 and had to kick a field goal. And it was basically just over from there. Although they did, and this stat shocked me, they forced Josh Allen to throw his first interception of the season. I could have swore he threw one against the Texans, but apparently not. Josh Allen has not fucking thrown an interception this season until this week. He's only lost 2 fumbles also. Like, It's wild.
I'll be damned. That boy can play football.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the golden retriever might be morphing into a German shepherd right now because the Bills are on a fucking roll after those Houston and Baltimore games.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing they do is, and I think it was some of you guys had posted, is that the Bills have more wins by like double digits than any other team in the last 5 years. Like when the Bills win, they fucking obliterate people.
Yeah, the
It's
Baltimore game is an outlier because they really don't lose by a whole lot. That was like an extreme case in the last couple years where they just managed to always keep it close even when they lose. But yeah, when they win, it's usually ugly for somebody.
Yeah, I mean, you look at their 2 losses. You know, the Baltimore game was close, and then that game snowballed really fast when Josh Allen fumbled it, and then the Texans lost, like you mentioned. Like Josh Allen was probably concussed in that game and just had like a weirdo day. So, like this team, when they roll, they are like as good as anyone. What were you gonna say?
I forgot. Oh no, I remember it was something about the Saints Chargers game that I forgot to bring up. Did either of you see the hit on Justin Herbert like in the middle of the game? Where the Saints guy just kind of grabbed him and threw him down to the ground.
I did see that, and he started like twisting, trying to breek his leg.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
That was fucked up.
I didn't see this. I'll have to go back and
He
find
did
that.
like that crocodile death roll to
I'll send the link.
Bring his leg under him and wrap him up.
Yeah, I just remembered it. I forgot. I meant to mention it during the game, and it slipped my mind till now. But like,
oh,
he just
what the
did that.
fuck?
Yeah.
Shout out number 75. Like fucking what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I just felt that needed to be mentioned. Yeah.
Welcome back, Bountygate.
Just.
Yeah,
Bills are
the
good.
Bills, very good. Seahawks, don't really know what to make of them because like when they were winning early, it was like, hey, it's Seahawks, and now it's like, ugh.
They're still tied for the division lead because the NFC West is just like that.
I mean,
nobody wants to win it.
They're 4-4. That's plenty of game left. You're gonna have issues with your first year coach.
Yeah, true.
Speaking of 6-2 teams, our team.
When all hope was seemingly lost and the the commies were down, but they were never out. Yeah, okay, so this might be the funniest game in the week, actually. I know we talked about Jets Patriots, but it's not often you get to witness an instant classic.
Yeah.
The Commanders' defense stifled Caleb Williams and the Bears' offense all night. Caleb Williams had, I think, 4 completed passes up until their last couple drives. Like, he just could not do anything. And then they put it together in the fourth quarter. He drove them down to the goal line, and in what I can only consider football fan service, with 6 minutes and 21 seconds left, Matt Eberflus called a handoff play to God, I can't remember Kramer's first name. An offensive lineman reported in as eligible, and then immediately fumbled the snap and gave the ball back to Washington at the 3-yard line.
Yeah,
and it
what
was like,
the fuck was that?
It had to be fan service because he was like, hey, people really liked the fridge back in the day, and people have been calling him the mini fridge, and he was like, what better way to win this game than to hand it off to the mini fridge? Oh, he fumbled it? It's like, yeah, because he's not a fucking running back.
I gotta wonder if like they practiced that play during the week with him, or if he just like spontaneously decided, that'd be cool.
Yeah, you guys know it'd be some cool ass shit. But then the Bears' vaunted defense forced a 3-and-out, got the ball back, and Caleb Williams did his thing, drove him down, and scored a touchdown to take a 2-point, or to take a 2-point lead, or no, take a 1-point lead, and then and then score the 2-point conversion. I'm drawing a blank here because I didn't have the score written down. To go up 15-12 with how much time left? Not much.
25 seconds.
Yeah. And then incomplete pass on first down to Zach Ertz. They complete an 11-yard pass to Zach Ertz again to get them closer.
Okay, that out route that they ran, nobody was near him. They had an entire cluster down the field, and they just let Ertz run that out route. Exactly
That
what they
was
needed.
ridiculous.
And then they did it again on the next play with Terry McLaurin, which was funny because Romo called it. He was like, this part of the field is going to be short. They're going to pick up like 15 yards here and get out of bounds and get a playoff with like 2 seconds left. And sure enough, it was 13 yards and 2 seconds left on the clock. Like Romo briefly remembered how to predict shit.
Yeah, do that every week instead of
I don't know, Jim.
Before we get to the play that ended this game, I want to point out that in the post-game press conference, Matt Eberflus said that those 13 yards didn't matter. Buddy.
Well, to be fair, he might be right.
It's so to be fair with this.
Well, hang on. Because on the final play of the game, Jaden Daniels runs around for 13 seconds, which is an NFL record for what is about to happen, and throws it into a pile of bodies, and the ball comes up a couple yards short. And then Tyreek Stevenson, who is a good defensive player, who flies into the pile, jumps up, and just kind of volleyball sets it to Noah Brown, who is uncovered behind the pack for the game-winning walk-off Hail Mary touchdown. And the reason why I say to be fair is because if Tyreek Stevenson did that 15 yards further upfield, Noah Brown still would have scored because he was uncovered. Nobody within like 5 yards of him. And the reason why nobody was within 5 yards of him was Tyreek Stevenson, said corner, was supposed to be covering him and was standing there on the numbers, chirping at somebody on the sideline while players were running down the field. His job was to follow and cover Noah Brown, and instead he didn't and lost track of where he was and was like, shit, I'll just jump into the crowd, and then directly caused the touchdown.
Yeah, that is our WTF or what the football moment of the week, because, like, you know, I can understand sometimes, you know, the fans can get in the players' heads in certain situations or whatever, but usually that kind of happens, like, in between plays or while somebody's on the sideline. I can't remember the last time I saw it, like, during a play, where it affected the outcome of the play.
The only other thing I've ever seen like this is, have you guys ever seen that clip where J.R. Smith just walks off the court mid-play to, like, dap somebody up?
Yeah!
And gives up a bucket? Like, that's the only thing I can think of. And that had, like, not nearly as, like, the level of consequences this did.
But I still do, though, think that those 13 yards matter, because, like...
Oh, absolutely.
Because I feel like if they hadn't gotten that and the Hail Mary was still thrown, even if Noah Brown catches it, like, you know, yeah, he may have been uncovered, but he still has to make it, like, the last 13 yards to the end zone, and what somebody else on the Bears could have easily caught up to him and tackled him before the goal line, but because they got those 13 yards and the ball landed almost at the goal line, he could just sit there and let the ball fall in his hands.
Yeah. Not to mention, too, like, if they don't give up those extra yards, like, that's like a 70-yard throw you're expecting Jaden Daniels, who has injured ribs, to make. Right?
It already danced around for 13 seconds and got one of the greatest blocks of all time to even set up that throw.
Yeah.
Like, I think he ran for 40 yards on the field, scrambling before he made, like, I think that's what it was, before he even made the throw itself.
You know what my favorite part of this was?
God!
Was Tony Romo saying that because he had injured ribs that they should put Mariota in to throw it. And then immediately throws like a historic Hail Mary, and it was like, well, you were saying...
Gotta say, it would have been even funnier if Mariota was the one to heave that thing.
Yeah.
That would have been insanely funny.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, this went from like a signature Caleb Williams Chicago Bear, like new Bears not dynasty, but new era of Bears victory to, oh, this is just going to be the first of many great moments for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and also another Bears way to lose a game.
Yeah, this is so Bears. Oh my god. And I got to share a little anecdote. So I was messaging one of my friends who's a Packers fan while this was happening. We were just talking about the like the drive before that and the mini fridge fumble and then the score. And then I see him get the snap of the playoff and it deflects and it ends up in Noah Brown's hands. And like seconds later, I get a message from her that just says, ha 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 ha, in all caps. And then a link to a song called The Bears Still Suck. Which maybe I'll have to make the outro music for this episode. And the thumbnail is like a pastor with a cheese head. So, yeah. Way to go, Bears.
But yet, despite that, I mean, the Bears are still 4-3. Like,
Yeah.
they're still in a pretty decent spot, even though, they could have been 5-2 with the rest of their division.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
In his rookie season, I really don't expect him to go out and compete. You take a season to start gelling. At 4-3, they're still within reach. This is not a bad team. If they can bring all these folks back next year, I could see them making a run at the division.
It's so Bears for them to finally feel like, hey, we've got a dude finally, and it's like, oh, we're still last. Like they're good, and they're still last in the division.
I mean, they're only a game behind the Eagles for a wild card too. Like they're still very much in play still this year. Yeah,
like I'm not too down and out on the Bears, and like even with all the shit about like Tyreek Stevenson's antics, like he's a starter on a great defense. Like he's very clearly a good player. It's just
a very, very bad mental error at about the worst time possible.
What do you do? Like he literally led the team in tackles this game. And then blew it in the final play. So, yeah, it is.
I would like to point out, halfway through his rookie campaign, Caleb Williams has 1,448 passing yards. So it does not look like he's on pace to crack that 4,000 yard mark for the Bears just yet.
Yeah, I'll have to wait till next year. Which, I mean, it didn't help that he only threw for like 131 here and didn't crack 100 against the Titans, but
yeah,
I mean, still like, and this is the type of game too where I feel pretty confident, even though like the first 3 quarters were ugly, because a thing that I always kind of value in a quarterback is like obviously putting up great numbers and winning is important, but for me, like, the thing that's like a true signifier if somebody's going to be great is like, can you get down and can you dig yourself out of it? Right.
Yeah.
Like prime example is Patrick Mahomes. Like it doesn't matter what happens. Like he's going to find a fucking way to do something about it. And this game I thought was a big testament to that, where like Caleb Williams and the passing offense just had absolutely no answers to the Commanders all night. And then when it mattered most, they put together 2 great drives to put themselves in position to win.
Yeah.
And, they're going to be kicking themselves for the fumble on the goal line and then obviously the final play of this game. So.
Yeah, I think he has what he needs to be a good quarterback. He just needs to have the people around him to make that a reality.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, guys like Rome Odunze and Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, like that's a great trio of receivers for him to grow with.
Yeah.
So, yeah. On to Denver. Where, speaking of another
Broncos are 5-3.
Yeah, what the hell? Like, I'm trying to think of teams who the Broncos beat. I cannot believe they've won 5 games.
As much as I don't want to admit it, I think Sean Payton is quietly building a Coach of the Year case here.
Dude, he had a spicy post-game press conference if you guys haven't seen it.
I have not
yet.
So, there was people, like, apparently people were mad at them for, like, running up the score. I don't really think they did. Whatever. But he was being asked about it, and they were like, oh, yeah, we heard some Panthers players were upset that you guys seem like you're running up the score. And, like, the entire time they're asking the question, he's like, I know. And he's like, we're not trying to run up the score. Like, we're just trying to do what's best to win. Play better.
I did see that. If you're upset about running up the score when you're up, One score?
Yeah.
You have no confidence in your team. You should not be playing football. I don't believe in running up the score. You keep your foot down as long as you can.
That's real
Yeah.
as fuck.
It was 28-7 at the time, but it was like they're
How
trying to pick up
often-
the first
quarter
time.
too.
How
Yeah.
often does somebody get out to a lead like that and it bites them in the ass?
Yeah, he specifically said he's like, I've been 28 in the fourth quarter and lost before. Like, we're trying to win.
I read this one anecdote one time from, I think it was Woody Hayes when he was on Ohio State, when they beat the shit out of Michigan one year. And a reporter asked him why he went for 2, because they were running up the score at that point, and he said, because I couldn't go for 3. That's how you should be running a football team.
Oh my god.
If you don't want the score to be run up on, you should play better.
Yeah, it's not their job to... it's one thing, like, if you're the Dolphins and you're up 50 and you're like, maybe we shouldn't kick a field goal here.
Fuck that.
But, like...
Yeah, but that's funny.
Yeah. I mean, it would be fun. Also, have you guys seen the Empleman video about the ghosts of the 72 Dolphins?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I love the quote he's like where he talks about that, and he's like, after all, like, bad things happen to teams that try to top 72. And they would have got to 73 if they did that. But yeah. Big stat here though. First time in his career that Bryce Young led an opening drive touchdown. So
Good for him, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy. He threw 2 picks in this game, and yet this might be his best game ever.
Yeah, unfortunately, they also had 7 drives with under 7 yards. So,
They should
Panthers.
pair up Bryce Young with Matt Canada. I want to see how bad football can get.
Oh God.
he might die.
Unethical experiments in the form of football.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, this was a better Bryce Young game. It was a much needed, but like, this wasn't the type of game where you're like, this guy's not an NFL caliber quarterback. Like, this was just a bad offensive showing.
Yeah.
And a big part of that was just because, Andy Dalton was out of the lineup from this game because of, I think it was that car crash that he got into.
Yeah. And no Deontay Johnson.
Yeah. More on that later. But yeah, I mean, this Broncos team, like you mentioned, they're just very well coached. Like, Bo Nix is growing in every single week, it seems, and like this was a pretty solid game. But yeah, I don't know if part of me wonders, like, was this game just like kind of like an advertisement for Bryce Young? But at the same time, it was like, all right, well, he kind of got something. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know what the deal is with this team.
it's weird.
Yeah.
His trade stock's at an all-time low. I mean, it's a little better, but it's
Not high either.
I don't
No.
I don't understand what the Panthers are going to. I think they should take like the bottom 4 teams in the league this year and just merge them all into one team, and they'll actually have one good team that can do
The
things
football homunculus.
together. Yeah. Take the Jets, the Titans, the Panthers, and the Dolphins, I guess, and mash them all together, make them play in London, and you have another competitive team again.
You've been relegated to London.
Exactly. That's their punishment for having to do that.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. So, yeah, Broncos 5-3, and currently the number 5 seed in the playoffs. Well,
And the Panthers are 1-7.
Yeah.
The only team in the league that is 1-7.
Ugh.
Buh.
There is
Then
another team with one win though, because the Titans are also terrible.
Oh, it's true. I forgot about them.
Nobody else at 7 losses yet.
Yeah. A team
7
does have
wins,
7
though.
wins though. Yeah, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. They beat the Raiders 27-20.
Because of course they did.
I was so goddamn close. God damn it. This game really turned when the Raiders drove all the way down. The Raiders had I think it was 11 plays inside the Chiefs 20 in a row, and they got 3 points out of it because they drove all the way down. They kicked a field goal after they got stopped. They forced a Patrick Mahomes interception like in his own end zone, and then the Chiefs stood them up on 4 straight downs And that was basically when the game changed there. And the Raiders made it a little interesting at the end because Gardner Minshew actually played pretty well in this game.
About time.
But in the end, the Chiefs come out on top and advance to 7-0. Patrick Mahomes, 260 yards is what it is. They still really can't run the ball. It's just this defense is fucking monster. Like,
Yeah.
they're so
And it got better.
opportunistic too. Yeah, more on that later. I'm just mostly mad because I almost picked this one right. I was gonna be so fucking smug about it too.
I wouldn't have blamed you one bit either.
I would have been happy with it.
Yeah,
I just
literally sweating with anger.
People get so upset over the idea of the Chiefs, and they get this big image on their head, and then they go, and it's just a football team. But they play scared out of their mind. They just let the Chiefs win. I don't know what's in the water.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The thing that makes the Chiefs infuriating too is they always have these like bullshit like trick plays and like hook and laterals and like, oh, we're gonna snap it to this guy instead. And it's just kind of like infuriating to watch.
Yeah, they're just fucking around waiting for the playoffs to play real football.
They're such an unserious team in the regular season.
It's like going back to the NASCAR comparison when the 48 would win something early in the season. They would just fuck around until the playoffs started.
Jimmy Johnson would just be doing side quests all summer.
Yeah. Oh.
Fucking Chiefs.
True.
Also, I wouldn't hate... I don't hate the Chiefs. I'm sick of the Chiefs, and I think a big part of it is every goddamn commercial has Patrick Mahomes in it, and that motherfucker cannot act.
Yeah.
At least Travis Kelce has like comedic chops.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes cannot act.
I do like that
He also
most
puts
recent
ketchup on
commercial with
steak.
Andy Reid going, "Ooh," or whatever the hell it is he's doing.
God.
Andy Reid is so unfunny that it wraps around to being funny again.
Yeah.
Like Bill Belichick.
Actually, okay. So
Bill Belichick's genuinely funny.
Yeah,
this is
he's
gonna
just
be
dry about it.
A rare moment where I'm gonna praise a commercial or an ad campaign. I fucking love that we have an ad campaign that has Case Keenum, Josh Dobbs, and Colt McCoy in it. That fucking rules so goddamn hard. That like I love me some backup quarterbacks. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, "There's no way that they got Case Keenum," and then I saw the Josh Dobbs one. I was like, "No fucking way!"
I miss the Baker Mayfield commercials.
Same.
Those were good.
Yeah,
dude. I was so mad when they had like a couple games that he missed with injury, where I was like, "Why do they not have like, oh man, Case Keenum's house sitting for me this week when he was starting for him?" It was fucking right there.
When
they didn't do it.
When he left Cleveland, they should have had him moving out of the stadium.
Baker wanted to do that, and they said no.
Yeah, they said no.
It would have been so funny. We're not allowed to have actual funny commercials. Literally 1984.
It's actually 2024.
Fuck. We're wildly off topic. Anyway, that was Chiefs Raiders. Let's go to Sunday night. I'm sad.
Good. You should feel sad.
This is maybe the most Cowboys loss I've ever seen.
Are you sure?
Well, okay. The reason why I say that, the reason why I say that is, they're up 10-6 at half, and then the 49ers remember how to score touchdowns and absolutely explode in the third quarter for 21 points. And the Cowboys are down 30 to 10 at that point?
Something like that.
And then Dak Prescott leads them on this great drive. CeeDee Lamb finally is part of the team. He has a huge night, 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. And both of these drives, CeeDee Lamb could not be more wide open than he was on both touchdowns, right? And they put on these great 2 drives, and they move the ball down methodically, and they get it to 1 score, and then they force a 49ers punt, and it's like, all right, they've got the ball. There's 3 minutes left. Plenty of time. Go do it again. Dak throws a terrible pass on first down into like triple coverage that should have been picked. And then just like he airmails second down pass, chucks it like 40 yards downfield to Cavante Turpin and hits him in the face mask, and then airmails it on fourth down, game over. And it was like fucking, they had so much time, and they had just done it 2 drives in a row, and then on the final drive, with a chance to go win it, Dak Prescott did a signature thing of just fucking sailing it into the fucking crowd on a must-have throw. Because goddamn it, does he love to do that. And it was game over. And I was like, yep, that was what I expected. I don't know why I had hope. So,
is Dak Prescott good?
So I'm really trying to not be too hard on him this year. Dak he's obviously a very good passer before the snap, like in terms of like he's the closest thing we have to Peyton Manning in terms of like pre-snap and like running the offense, because he's basically running it all himself there. But anytime you need him to make a play, he does not fucking do it, dude. And I've been watching this for God knows how many years now, and he always puts up great numbers, but when it comes down to it and it's like, Dak, we just need a drive, and he's like, okay, I'm going to throw it on fourth down into the fucking crowd. Or I'm going to throw it in the dirt on a screen pass. Like,
I'm noticing that when there's any sort of pressure, he's a terrible quarterback, but when the game's out of reach and it's garbage time, he can mop up.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's got to be mental at this point, because he has all the other tools to succeed.
Yeah,
I just think being on the Cowboys is like brainworms.
He is, and I this is going to sound really harsh, but Dak is the worst big game quarterback I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I can't think of a single big game he's ever won. Like, even last year, they lose to the Eagles in the beginning of the season, and it was his fault they lost. I'm still mad that I can...
in by San Francisco last year.
Yeah, and then they played the Eagles later down the season, and the Eagles are terrible and crumbling, and then they beat them, and everybody's like, yeah, see, we beat a good team, and it was like, well, not really.
No, you didn't.
Look what happened in the playoffs to the Packers. It's just, I struggle to think of a single big game that these Cowboys have ever won, and I really can't think of one. Like, even their 2 playoff wins that they have, it was against, like a crumbling Seahawks team in 2018, and then, like a bad Bucs team led by Tom Brady. And even then, like, their kicker tried to fucking lose that game by missing 4 extra points. So, it's just
Wasn't
like...
that Brett Maher still?
It was, yeah.
Dear God.
I found he is 2 for 5 in the playoffs. His 2 wins, first one came in 2018 against the Seahawks. Threw for 226 yards with a touchdown and a pick. And the other one was 2022 against the Buccaneers, in which he went 25 for 33 for 300 yards.
Yeah.
Against...
was
that Tom Brady's
Bucs
last
team.
year?
Yeah, that was Brady's last game.
Brady's last
right.
ever game was his first ever loss against the Cowboys.
So I guess we can hang our hats on that.
The only thing Dak Prescott has accomplished is ending Tom Brady's career.
Yeah. It's just so frustrating because like he's a good quarterback. Like, he can fucking throw the ball. He knows how to run an offense. It's just when the pressure's on, I would rather have almost anybody else.
Yeah.
Also, have you guys seen the like battle in the press that's been going on between Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy right now?
I have not.
It's bad. Last week we talked about Jerry Jones threatening to fire those radio hosts.
Yeah, he's still been on that, by the way.
Yeah, so this happened after we recorded last week's show, or I heard about it after, but he straight up said that Mike McCarthy is drawing up bad plays and bad concepts. Like, explicitly said that. And Mike McCarthy's response to this is fucking hilarious. Where they asked him about that during his like midweek press conference, and he's like, "I don't think we have bad plays, but I'll go back and check." And he laughed while he was saying it. He was like, "I don't fucking know, man. My boss is crazy."
I want to piggyback off of that. Did y'all see the video of Trayvon Diggs after this game too?
I don't know if I did.
Oh, I did see this.
I can't remember the context. I think it was there was one play where he, I guess, got burned, or there was something that happened.
Oh, it was George Kittle's like 60-yard run.
Yeah, and
and
I
he
guess
just like held on to him and got drug along for 10 yards.
And a reporter tweeted, I think, like what was he doing on this play, or whatever, and he went and fouled him after the game and just gave him a bunch of lip service, and it was like, dude, really?
God,
like,
it is really funny to look at the way this season's going. And like at the end of last year, I was like, trade Dak Prescott, fire Mike McCarthy. And now I'm looking at what this team is right now. I'm like, honestly, I don't think either of them are the problem right now. I really don't. Like Dak's like whatever, he's fine. Like, yeah, kind of blew the end of this game, but at the same time, like they gave up 3 straight touchdowns in one quarter to the 49ers. Like, not really much you can do. Mike McCarthy is a good coach. He's just in that window, or he's in that zone where like he's too good to fire, but he's not good enough to get you over the hump.
Yeah, he's in that Andy Reid zone. You have to cut your ties.
Yeah.
You can't sit with somebody that's good enough for so long that it becomes a problem. They have to let him go.
Yeah, exactly. Like they need fresh ideas, and like that's not what Jerry Jones likes doing. I mean, all you have to know is like, hey, last year the team fell apart down the stretch, and he was like, "Well, get Zeke back in here." I was like, no. Like,
and now they're
his
worse.
idea of going all in the offseason was to sign Zeke Elliott. And like, yeah, Zeke, great Cowboys player 5 years ago.
Building a great team for 2017.
Yeah. It's just like they did absolutely nothing in the offseason, and now Jerry Jones is blaming everybody else. And it was like, no, Jerry, it's you, because you're the GM.
I shouldn't get on a tangent because we're running late, but Jerry Jones is convinced that he's building a brand instead of a football team. That's all he's done as the owner of the Cowboys. He built a mall for his team to play in, and he has a big quarterback and a big wide receiver, and that's it. All he wants is the Cowboys to be popular. It doesn't matter if they're good or not.
Did he really build the brand, though? Because they were already to that point when he bought the team.
Well,
yes
AT&T and Jerry World is...
Oh, yeah, that part, certainly. But, like, the Cowboys themselves were already, like, an established brand when he took over the ownership.
Yeah, but they were still playing good football. And since then, they've won a Super Bowl. And now they're starting to circle the drain without anything to show for it in his tenure.
Well, I was gonna say, when he bought the Cowboys, they were at their lowest point since their first season.
Yeah.
And I think Jerry Jones does care. I think the problem is he's too up his own ass, I think is the best way to put it.
He's too hands-on, and he keeps fucking with everything.
He and Jimmy Johnson built a dynasty that won 3 Super Bowls, right? But he didn't get along with Jimmy Johnson, and he ran him out of town.
That was Chad Knaus.
God damn it. But, like, he can't accept the fact that it was probably Jimmy who did more of the work. Like, obviously the two of them were collaborative in that whole thing, but like Jimmy Johnson is the one who orchestrated the Herschel Walker trade, right? Mm-hmm. And like, I don't know if you guys know this, but like when when the Vikings came knocking about Herschel Walker, Jerry Jones was like, "We are not fucking trading the best player on our team. Like, just give him like a ridiculous offer." And then the Vikings were like, "Sure." And so then they kind of had to, right? And so I think he is obsessed with the fact that they haven't done it since Jimmy left, right? Jimmy leaves, they win one with Barry Switzer, but it was all of Jimmy's players, and they have not been close since then. And I think he is just too in his own head about everything because, like yes, the Cowboys were America's team before then, or they were referred to that before then. But, you know, like I was saying, they were at their lowest point in franchise history when he bought the team and rebuilt them back into what they are now. Like, and like the Cowboys were already a brand, and then he took them and built them even bigger. And
right.
the mall comparison is so fucking perfect for AT&T Stadium. And so he doesn't want to admit that he can't do it by himself. Like, this is the only team I think that still doesn't have a proper general manager.
Yeah,
I think about
he's
it.
still serving as general manager. I
Yeah,
don't
and-
care how good of a football mind you are. Any general manager, period, should not serve in the same position for 35 years.
Yeah.
The game passes you by at that point.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
has to be an owner and just let the football run itself.
Yeah, and that's the prime example is like last year was an embarrassment, and it's almost like he wants to prove a point that like, oh, I know what we're doing, and then he did fuck all in the offseason, and now he's just flailing around and blaming Mike McCarthy when it was like, well, you didn't give him any fucking talent, you know?
He's good with the not football stuff, but he has to hand off the football stuff to some point. That's
So
the
this
only way they're going to be good.
I genuinely don't think this team will ever win again as long as Jerry Jones is running the team. This is one of the reasons why I've felt so like disconnected from them this year is, you know, the thing that I've always like the thing I will give Jerry Jones for is he's like extremely loyal to his players and he takes care of his players financially, right? And you can look at that and go, oh, you know, he overspends on people, but like I don't know, like I think the players probably should be paid more. So I can appreciate it at least from that standpoint. And like it's cool that he's loyal to Zeke Elliott. Like Zeke is kind of a Cowboys legend at this point, but he's not the player that you build an offense around, right?
No.
Dalvin Cook hasn't been good in a couple of years. Like Zeke and Dalvin Cook is not what you build an offense around.
Wasn't this Dalvin Cook's first game of the year too?
It was, yeah. I forgot he was even on. He was on their practice squad. Like he can't make their roster. You know, it's just frustrating. So yeah, and it. I was gonna say it annoys me too because it's like I'm a Cowboys fan because of my dad, and it pains me more to see how upset it makes my dad more than it upsets me. You know?
Yeah,
because I'm
like dealt with the shit much longer.
Yeah, I'm like like you got to see them be good at some point, you know, and now you have to sit there and watch them be a shell of themselves all the fucking time. So, way to go, Cowboys! You made my dad sad. I hope you're happy.
Well, on the flip side, my dad is very happy for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Let's talk about this one.
The shit out of the New York Giants, 26-8.
I was watching this game. Shit out of is the right word. But
no,
it was a good win.
Going into half, Brian Dable looked normal, and then throughout the second half, he got more and more red, more and more flustered, and he started throwing his headset, and he was pressed. As soon as he threw that headset the first time, I know the Steelers were winning that game.
So, fun fact, the Pittsburgh Steelers have not lost a home Monday night game since 1991.
They lost to the Giants in that game.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I was almost like secretly hoping the Giants would win last night just for no other reason than like a streak like that being bookended by the same team would be extremely funny.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the second time this season on a 2-point conversion where Brian Dable has explicitly said, I don't trust my like $70 million quarterback to pick up 2 yards. Because for those of you who watched the Seahawks game a few weeks ago, they scored a touchdown to go up 9 and then kneeled a 2-point conversion. And then on this game, they scored a touchdown and then tried to run some like swinging gate bullshit.
What was
just
that?
Nobody blocked, immediately got blown up, and Daniel Jones was pissed.
They just let Highsmith run between them.
Yeah, like it literally looked like he was offsides. That's how unblocked he was.
It's all based on the snap, and none of them were even looking in any direction.
It's just insane to watch because I was like, you don't trust anybody. Like Daniel Jones is like 7 feet tall. Like you can just send him up over the pack and get a 2-point conversion. Like what are you doing?
If you're that worried, just take the extra point.
God, it was just baffling to watch, and I was like, I couldn't even put into word. Like, I don't like the Giants, so part of me loves watching them suffer. But like, that was a play where I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? Right? Like, I've never got the Daniel Jones hype, and I was very thoroughly justified on the final 2 drives of this game.
Oh my god!
But like that, like I've always been weird. Like I don't know, something about the 2022 Giants, despite how like all the crazy wins they got, I was like, I'm not feeling Dable. And then last year I felt really vindicated, and I feel even more vindicated after that fucking play call.
That
Because
was
like
some dog Dale shit.
he can get pissed at Daniel Jones all he wants, but I was like, you're the one who fucking called that play, my dude.
Yeah.
So
Why are you calling a trick play on a 2-pointer? Just run the play with the folks that you have.
yeah,
That's not the time for trickery.
it's just dumb. And I know a big part of it too is they lost Tyrone Tracy to who's been a breakout like steal for
Pleasant
them.
surprise for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just infuriating. And the final 2 drives, good God. I mentioned this in Discord when it happened, but like Daniel Jones loves to get strip sacked in a way where it just looks like cruel. Like TJ Watt literally just ran up to him and took the ball from him. Like it's just straight up disrespectful. And then he throws a terrible interception.
Right after a Russell Wilson fumble that very well could have changed the game.
Oh, yeah.
To cough it back up afterwards.
Gift wrapped. And they're in the red zone too. And then TJ Watt's like, here, let me have that.
Yeah.
And then they force a punt, get the ball back, and then Daniel Jones throws a pretty goddamn bad interception to Beanie Bishop.
Another pickup by Beanie Bishop.
Yeah.
Who was undrafted free agent coming in and is now one of the key pieces of his secondary with Cam Sutton returning this week. It's going to be, or next week, it's going to be interesting to see how this team continues to evolve. This is the most thoroughly rounded Steelers team I can remember since they went to the Super Bowl.
I was going to say, like, I don't think they've been this complete of a roster probably since they lost to the Packers.
Yeah.
And like, they've had good seasons since then, but, like, they always fell flat. And I think if Russell Wilson can regain a bit more of his old form with the Seahawks, they have a legit chance to make some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing at a very solid level. He doesn't have that, like, same level of mobility that he used to, but he's, you know, he can throw the ball over the, like, downfield. Which, I mean, again, like we said it like 1,000 times last week. No disrespect to Justin Fields, but he wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
And that's unlocked Najee Harris. It's made George Pickens like a genuine threat.
The emergence of Najee this year has been so fun to see too.
Oh yeah,
running under an Arthur Smith offense has completely changed how that's how Steeler football is. You pound the rock and you have a quarterback for when you need to pass it.
Yeah. And then you just let TJ Watt kill people, and then
exactly. It's just unbelievable.
He'll let that whole defense kill people.
To see Najee turn around from being an all-right running back to being the stud that he should have been. Basically running the plays Derrick Henry's been running. When
he's got Pro Bowl potential to him now.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
That's just a
third 100-yard game in a row.
If everybody can come back and everybody can stay healthy, this is a monster of a team.
Not only that, but like Jalen Warren, like really becoming a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
On this, like if you need to play just to run, like he's there and he can get you like 8 yards if you need him. So, yeah, they're looking pretty damn good right now.
The only problem is Broderick Jones.
Yeah,
Fuck that motherfucker.
Yeah, the touchdown that got negated by his penalty last night, that was pretty bad.
Yeah. And it's a byproduct of the line being beat up. He's playing on his opposite side. But still, you can't be doing that shit.
Yeah, the fact that the Steelers are 6-2 despite losing like half of their starting offensive line to season-ending injuries is beyond remarkable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, even the 2 games that they lost, they could have easily won had that O-line been at full strength. Because both of their losses this year were only by 3 points apiece. Like, It's not unprecedented to say that if, like, they had a fully healthy O-line that they're 8-0 right now.
They very well could be, yeah. But they have the upcoming week off, and then it's going to be a slog for a while.
Yeah, that slate coming up is something.
Washington, like Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Philly.
Well, and then Baltimore, KC. There is no easy game for them the rest of the year.
No.
Well,
it is tough matchup every fucking week. Well, maybe. Well,
well, luckily they've built up a pretty good gap, and they are currently leading the AFC South.
Yeah.
As we head into the dues.
Yeah. Injuries galore again because fuck people staying healthy. The Chiefs put Sky Moore on IR with a core muscle injury, so that explains why he hadn't really been doing much so far this year. The Vikings lost Christian Darrisaw, their standout tackle for the year. He tore his ACL and MCL against the Rams. They addressed that problem. More on that later. The Jaguars lost Christian Kirk for the year. He broke his collarbone against the Packers. Owie. Brian Thomas also got hurt in this game, but looks like only a day-to-day thing. Might be back for the next game. The Texans, who are already thinning out at wide receiver, we mentioned earlier, have lost Stephon Diggs for the year with a torn ACL, so that's a massive loss to that offense. Tank Dell got to step it up next week. The Dolphins, who just got Tua back, put another quarterback on IR as Tyler Huntley hurt his shoulder, so that experiment looks to be over for now. Bub Means had a high ankle sprain against the Bucs, or who the hell did the Saints play? Fucking the Chargers, day-to-day for him. Debo got hurt again, listed as like a hip and oblique strain, but he might play anyway. I feel like with the 49ers, it's just like playing a game of operation, and just seeing how many different like body parts they can injure, like the White Sox a couple years ago. So that's what they got going on. It sounds like they might get Christian McCaffrey back soon too, which would be a huge boost for them. It might be a division-changing move if he comes back at full strength. This trade dropped the day after our last podcast, but the Titans shipped off DeAndre Hopkins to the Chiefs for a 5th-round pick that can become a 4th if the Chiefs reach the Super Bowl and he plays 60% of the snaps.
God damn it.
Yeah. And that wasn't the only move that the Chiefs made, as they also traded for linebacker Josh Uche from the Patriots, which I hate everything. That sucks.
I was surprised with him. Yeah.
He was like a season, I think, removed from a double-digit sack year, and they only got a 6th-round pick in 2026 for him, which was super disappointing. I think they could have gotten way more for a guy of that caliber. But the Chiefs got way better on offense and way better on defense, on top of being the only undefeated team left. So
this is the last year on his contract, so it's a rental.
Yeah, which I totally understood, but I still feel like a 6th-round pick for his talent was definitely an underpay for the Pats.
That's
the
just
Titans,
like your opinion, man.
Yeah, no, shut the fuck up. The Titans were not done trading though after DeAndre Hopkins, as they also shipped off Ernest Jones IV to the Seahawks for Jerome Baker and a 4th-round pick in 2025. So a solid pickup for the Seahawks, and the Titans clearly in sell mode, and it wouldn't surprise me if they deal other players before the deadline.
I love that we have a player named Ernest in the NFL.
Yeah.
The Ernest.
Hell
Oh, no, that's Ernest Jones, not the Ernest Johnson. My apologies.
The Panthers sent Deontay Johnson packing to a better place, as he got shipped off to the Ravens, along with a 6th-round pick in exchange for a 5th in 2025. So maybe he can go be miserable somewhere else now, but at least he'll be winning. He'll be winning, though, which I'm sure
Maybe
helps.
he has Chase Claypool disease.
And who knows? Something about Steelers receivers, man. What the hell?
Wait, didn't... Yeah, because Chase Claypool was on the Bills earlier this year, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
He was released on... I was going to say, did they release him after their 2 losses and then they just started winning again?
He got cut before the year started, I think. So with the injury to Christian Darrisaw, the Vikings traded a conditional 2026 5th-round pick to the Jaguars for Cam Robinson, so clear that the Jags are kind of selling too. Which is funny, because the Jags at the deadline last year traded for a tackle from the Vikings, so now they've just kind of undone what they did last year, but with a different player.
Oh my gosh.
The Broncos had one of their players get injured in a shooting last week. Josh Reynolds received treatment for minor injuries sustained in a shooting. So if I had a nickel for every wide receiver injured in a shooting this year, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's too many, because can we stop fucking shooting people, please? Like, let's not do that. And one of the more notable moves this week wasn't a trade or a signing. The Colts officially benched Anthony Richardson for their upcoming game, and Joe Flacco will be behind center again.
Yeah, I think it's like what we talked about earlier. I think it's the right move. Like,
It is.
It's tough,
Nothing
but I
about-
think it's right.
Yeah, nothing about the way Anthony Richardson's played is like conducive. Like, this is a team that has a chance to make the playoffs, and Richardson is not going to do that at the way he's playing. So
We
And
saw what Joe Flacco did last year. I think he can do it again.
yeah.
He is immortal from Father Time.
All right, and then we already did what the football. So
And on this day
Oh,
in
yeah.
football history, in 1921, Centre College upset Harvard 6-0 in what is one of the largest upsets in the history of college football. That was Harvard's first loss in 4.5 years.
God damn.
I love the
Yeah.
old Wild West of college football. Like when Michigan won undefeated 4 straight years, and then they lost 2-0.
And then the guy committed suicide out of guilt.
Yeah,
Oh my
Like-
god.
like 15 years later.
Early
And-
college football is fucking wild. It is insane to read about sometimes.
Yeah,
And
I don't necessarily believe in college football still.
well, you
I
should.
can
It's fun.
understand that. On this Tuesday, October 29th, I would also like to wish a happy birthday to the Red Rocket, Andy Dalton.
Oh hell
He
yeah.
Yeah.
turns 37 years old today.
God, he got old so fast.
Yeah,
He did.
I remember back when he was a little one getting destroyed on the Bengals.
Losing 4 straight wild card games.
What happened?
And then an honorable mention for WTF moment. There was a story that I guess dropped 2 hours ago that I saw while we were recording this. Aaron Rodgers apparently has discovered a quote little fountain of youth, and it's just him putting cayenne pepper into water.
Sure, man.
Apparently, he said it was suggested to him by his teammate, who was the Jets punter, Thomas Morstead.
This has the same
And-
energy as
yeah.
white people discovering acai berries and being like, this super fruit can do all these things. And people in South America are like, yeah, we eat those all the time. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, dude, I'm on some crazy shit. It's cayenne pepper.
Okay, I found it. It's tea. Aaron Rodgers drinks tea. Good for
Well,
him.
Well, it's really funny
Ugh.
too because he so he said after the game, Timo gave referring to Morstead, gave me a little fountain of youth. He said he's been taking it for a while, all legal of course. Maybe that's why I've been feeling a little better. Which apparently was right after a Patriots player, Devon Godchaux, who went in front of the media and they asked him about Aaron Rodgers, and he said, Hall of Fame quarterback, hate to see him go out that way. He definitely doesn't look the same. Shit, I could run him down and catch him. He doesn't look mobile at all. Devon
my
Godchaux,
God.
you fucking rock, man.
Aaron Rodgers is at that. I don't want to just call him white and be done with it, but you get what I mean, right? Where he's
I know
just
exactly what you mean.
yeah, where he's like, yeah, man, it's this miracle drink, and it's like, yeah, man, that's just normal shit. Like, God
It's like-
damn it.
It's like surfer culture, but for medicine.
Yeah,
He is from California.
I was gonna say he is a shockingly good representative of NorCal.
So, dude, try my new elixir.
Yeah, it's like that. You know that famous tweet of the girl with the frozen fish sticks on her head, and he's like, "She's so crazy." Like that's Aaron Rodgers. God,
That's going in the thumbnail. You have to put Aaron Rodgers with a
with
package of
fish sticks on
his
top of his head. Yeah. All right, hang on. Let me Google that first before I forget. With fish sticks on head. Anyway, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, I'm nominating the Jets for Dunyan Rings.
Agreed.
This Dunyan Ring segment sponsored by ayahuasca. I agree.
And by Gorton's Fish Sticks.
Yeah. If you don't fuck with Gorton's, I don't fuck with you.
Yeah, the Jets are done in rings.
The Panthers lost again, so you got to put them on there
Oh
again.
yeah, Panthers
Oh, yeah,
again.
yeah.
All right. I'm trying to think. Is there anybody else that? Let me look at the playoff picture real quick.
We did the Saints already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the
who
Saints
else on there
last
right
week.
now?
We have right now the Panthers about 8 times. Let's see. The Dolphins, the Browns, the Raiders, the Patriots, the Giants, the Saints, and the Jets.
I'm cool with just the Jets this week.
I want to nominate the Jaguars again because they did lose again, and they're now 2-6, and their upcoming schedule is rough.
I'm gonna say not yet because the Browns might prove us wrong, and I'm going to reserve judgment on the Jaguars until it's too late.
Yeah, I'm willing to give the Jags one more week.
Fair
I think we have a lot of teams on there for week 9. I think we
Yeah.
can go a little bit.
Because we put the Panthers on there after week 1.
Which, in fairness, has been the right decision.
Yeah, and then the Dolphins after week 5, which probably going to be the right decision, but we'll see. So
Yeah.
I'm sad that the Yankees just won Game 4 while we were recording this because I really wanted to Dunyan Rings the Yankees tonight. But hopefully by this point next week, the Dodgers will have won the World Series and we can put them on there. But not yet.
I'll wait.
I cannot find this. Oh, okay, I just found the meme. All right, I have the girl with the fucking pizza rolls on her head. It's not fish sticks. I was wrong.
Oh, damn. Sorry, Gorton's. We're taking your money back.
Yeah. Gordon's fish sticks and Dunyan Rings. They're going on there.
Not the first time we've Dunyan Rings food items either.
Why is
I'm fucking hungry also.
a segment called Dunyan Rings sponsored by Fish Sticks?
I've been trying to like brainstorm like a sound drop for like the Dunyan Rings intro where it's just
Should
like
be,
somebody
like-
deep frying something.
Should be like Dunyan Rings and it's an echo and it turns into like the bubbling deep fryer sound.
Yeah. You and I are Dunyan Rings. All right.
Oh God.
Week 9, pick they thems, kicking off Thursday night, Texans at Jets, because we just can't get enough New York teams in prime time, because we need the whole nation to see the Jets be embarrassed.
Oh, speaking of the Jets, or in New York in general also, with the Giants losing last night, New York City became the first metropolitan area to lose an MLB, MLS, NBA, and NFL game on the same day. Thank you very much, New York. Continue to make us laugh. I'm picking the Texans.
Watch this be the game that the Jets break their streak.
No.
I'm gonna go with the Texans because I'm out on the Jets.
I want to pick the Texans. They just lost Stephon Diggs. They're still out Nico Collins. And it's a Thursday game. I'm going to have to take the Jets on this one.
Boo.
I'm sorry, somebody has to.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't have to.
Well, I'm a gambling man.
What can I say? I'm a gambler.
Prepared to make a sizable casino donation.
I want to point out also, pick'em stats this season. Steven has picked the Jets 6 times. I've picked them 4, and Dewey has picked them once.
Did I get them right when I picked them?
No.
Fuck. They're not good for anything.
Nope. All right. Then we kick off Sunday afternoon. Saints at Panthers. Ugh.
Man, I don't want to.
You know, I was going to say that I don't want to make the same mistake twice by picking the Panthers over the Saints again. But man, the Saints are bad now. I don't know.
This might be the worst game of the season.
Yeah.
I think I would feel less bad about picking a tie for this game wrong than picking either team and getting them wrong.
There are... hang on, I'm looking real quick.
Like, this might actually be the most disgusting game, not even of just the year, of, like, the decade so far. Even though, there's been some real stinkers in this decade, but, like, this has potential to be one of the worst games in recent memory.
Oh God.
2-6 at 1-7. Like it,
I don't
hard to get
want
worse than
pick-
that.
And it's a divisional game.
I also don't want to pick this game.
Do you want to just go with like a tie across the board?
Do you want to just skip this one?
I am abstaining.
Yeah, we're protesting this one.
We're protesting bad football.
Because I'm looking at it now. I have not picked the Panthers a single time, and if I were to pick this game, I would pick them. But
I've picked them twice, and it went horribly wrong both times. So I don't want to do it again. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna pick a tie. I can't be bothered to pick
Alright.
either of these teams for anything right now.
I'm gonna take the Panthers because fuck it.
Oh man.
If this is the
maybe-
game that actually ends up being the tie, I am gonna gloat about this the rest of the year.
Maybe
I don't want to pick the Saints, man.
well, don't pick the Panthers with me.
Fine, give me the Panthers.
All right.
I can't. The Saints are awful.
Yeah. If anybody's gonna give Bryce Young the ego boost he needs, it's gonna be Dennis Allen. Commanders at Jets. Commanders at Giants. Who wants to
Locking
lock
our
the
team.
commies? Yeah, there it is.
Play the sound. Play the thing.
Oh shit. Should we? No, I don't want to do another commies
Nah.
across the board lock. I'm gonna pick the commies, but I'm not gonna join you in this lock. So I've got
I'm
another
gonna
game
pick
or
the
two.
commies as well, but I think the Giants are gonna keep this one close.
They're gonna keep it
And-
close enough just to lose in humiliating fashion.
Yeah, the Giants
cool
are
with
not
that.
a bad team. They just have bad coaching that's going to make them lose this game.
The Giants aren't bad; they just suck.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah,
And yet
yeah,
that
exactly.
makes sense.
Anyway. Dolphins at Bills.
Bills.
I am locking the Bills.
I was considering locking it too.
I know the Dolphins got Tua back, but the Bills won by 3 touchdowns when Tua did play,
Yeah.
and the Bills are on a roll. And yeah,
Oh
yeah.
God, we've got another fucking game coming up. I just
Oh,
realized.
2 in a row.
Chargers at Browns.
I'll take the Browns. They got
I
a hot
am-
hands. They got Jameis. I mean, say
That-
what you will, but they are a decent team now. And
Yeah,
I think
I'm
kinda
Harbaugh is
feeling
too
the
boring
Browns.
to break through that.
But I am contractually obligated to pick against them, so go Chargers.
The battle of former Charlie Whitehurst teams. I'm gonna pick the Chargers for this one, but I wouldn't be shocked at all if the Browns win. To be honest. What Cardinal? Huh?
It's fucking right next to it's alphabetical. It's a drop-down list. Every time I click the wrong team, you go, "Oh my god, how did you click the?" It's fucking right next to it. It's right there.
Matt's
I would
crashing
fucking
out
be-
again.
I'm so fucking.
See, I would just simply pick the right team.
It's a
You
fucking
picked the
drop-down
Patriots.
list.
I don't want to hear it.
Hey, I got them right this week. Fuck you.
That's enough.
And you know
Anyway.
what? I'm getting them right again because they're gonna beat the Titans.
Yeah, this
Are you
is
sure
the
about
other game.
Is Drake May going to be back?
He's listed as questionable.
Oh God.
Oh god, I don't want to pick this one.
Don't want to
either.
pick this game.
Well, see, if Jacoby Brissett plays, I think this game is gonna be fucking terrible. I think if Drake May plays, the Pats have the edge because the Titans are fucking terrible, man.
I'm looking for something to flip.
Your table.
Maybe. Fuck. I guess I don't have a coin anywhere around here. I guess I just have to actually pick. Give me the. Dude, I don't fucking know.
You can flip a coin on Google.
Oh, I can. That's right.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, coin. Actually, no. I'm gonna spin a wheel. Hang on. Wheel spin.
Better have Ty on there.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna. Let me just clear all
I hope
of
it
these.
lands on a tie.
All right.
I hope. Please God.
Patriots Add another entry. Titans. Add another entry. Tie. All right, here we go. It's spinning. It's going. It's going to land on the Titans. That's who I'm picking.
Oh, poor bastard.
Unbelievable.
How many have I picked the Titans at all this year? I've picked them 3 times. Okay.
I'm gonna have to take the Patriots.
Oh, man.
I don't feel good about it.
I was
but go
tempted to
Titans.
take a tie. Tempted, but that hasn't landed yet.
Yeah, I've picked 5 ties this year. I need to chill with that. Cowboys at Falcons.
Falcons.
Yeah, give me the Falcons.
Man, this one is something. Honestly, of every game this week, this is the coin flip game for me.
It could go either way, because the Cowboys aren't good, but the Falcons are the Falcons.
That's true. Yeah.
I am going to give us a Falcons sweep here.
Oh God, we're gonna lose that one now.
At least we're all going down together.
Yeah.
That's real.
Raiders at Bengals.
Carson Palmer Bowl.
This is an interesting one. This really could go either way.
This really feels like if the Bengals lose this game, they are Dunyan rings.
Mm-hmm.
I think Zach Taylor's Dunyan rings if they lose this game too.
It's the Raiders versus the Bengals at home.
I'm gonna take oh God, but the Bengals are 0-4 at home. Fuck.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be 1-4 after this one. The Raiders are just.
So, fun stat about the Raiders that unfortunately is no longer accurate this week. Up until this last week, the Raiders were the last team to beat the Chiefs, the last team to beat the Ravens, and the only team to lose to this year's Panthers and the Jeff Saturday Colts. So
they can do it all, man.
Yeah.
With that, I'll be taking the Bengals.
Look at that. They're the most well-rounded team in the league.
Yeah.
I just think the Bengals are too good of a team to let this happen to them.
Yeah, I'm going Bongles here.
Why do I feel like some Gardner Minshew bullshit's going to happen in this game?
Because it will.
Because it probably will. It's just a
Fuck it, give me the Raiders again. I can't be wrong twice in a row. It's going to happen. Broncos at Ravens.
I'm going to do it. Broncos.
Ooh.
Sean Payton is playing unhappy, schoolyard, disciplined football, and I think the Ravens are going to get scared by that, and Lamar's going to do something dumb, and the Broncos are going to win this game.
Yeah, the worst part is I could see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
So can I, but the Ravens are a better team, and I gotta be totally honest with you, that's my only reasoning for picking them to win this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Ravens as well.
But at the beginning of the year, I would not have guessed at all that these two would be heading into this game with the same record.
Yeah, it is kind of wild
card matchup.
Yeah. AFC title game preview. Anyway, Bears at Cardinals. Wait, I've got a soundboard to play for this one.
But they are who we thought they were.
Yeah. I'm gonna take. No, fuck it. Give me our short king. Go Cardinals. Go Dortch.
I'll be taking Da Bear.
This could be a fascinating game. This
is the coin flip game this week.
In a good way, though.
Yeah.
And
that it's
I'm gonna go with the Cardinals, but yeah, this one definitely is.
Fuck you guys.
You.
Fuck you.
Yo.
Jaguars at Eagles. Doug Peterson revenge game.
Oh man.
Well, Doug Peterson lost his first revenge game, and he's losing this one too. Give me the Eagles.
Give me the Jags.
I'll take the Eagles because I either win or something really funny is going to happen.
That's a good way to think about it.
Oh, baby. Rams at Seahawks.
Rams.
I'm tempted to lock the Rams.
Los Angeles
I think locking is a little I mean, the Seahawks still aren't that bad. I just think the Rams are on a bit of a roll now after their win and getting healthier. But I don't think locking him is the move, honestly.
I don't think it's that far-fetched now that they have everybody, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of... I'm just looking at, like, momentum. Like, the Seahawks are in a tailspin. And the Rams are hot. So, I don't
This
know.
fucking
Do
game here,
Do
though.
it.
Oh, man.
Make it your lock. Lock
Lo-
them. Do it. Do it.
Fuck it. Lock the Rams. Let's go.
Yeah.
Lions at Packers.
Ooh.
It's a
Huge
shame
game.
It's a shame that this could not be flexed to Sunday night.
For some reason, it was not scheduled this Monday Night Football. Instead, we get some shit-ass game that we're going to talk about in a second. Give me the Lions. All right, good answers, you guys.
I don't
I'm thinking.
know.
Well, on one hand, I was going to say the Lions' defensive injuries are going to catch up to them in this game with who they're playing. But Jordan Love is probably not going to be 100% healthy when he plays. And so I think that's going to swing me back towards the Lions here. Guy
Love
with
the
a broken
Lions.
dick can't play football that well.
I love the Lions, but nah, I have to. Give me the Lions.
Boo. Boo. Boo.
I already have enough counterculture picks this week. I don't need another one.
Counterculture picks.
And then Sunday Night Football, Colts at Vikings.
Joe Flacco is inevitable. Give me the Colts. They can't blow a 33-0 lead to the Vikings twice, right?
Yes, they can. Give me the Vikings.
This was the other game I was thinking about locking. Give me the Vikings.
I
don't know why.
I actually
I just
wanted the Lions.
If they hadn't
game.
benched Richardson, I was going to pick the Vikings.
do?
But, like I
Yes,
think
I did.
Joe Flacco is going to give
Oh.
this team a spark that it needs.
Sorry, I didn't make that clear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I could. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I thought about locking this game, but then I was like, it is Flacco, and he's got some of that sicko energy to him. So I don't know. And then finally, Monday Night Football, Bucks at Chiefs.
I know the Chiefs are going to win this game, but I really want Baker to knock them off, so give me the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm looking at it the same way. My short
Yeah.
king.
I would love for the Bucks to win this game, but I think the Chiefs are going to, so I'm picking the Chefs. I think they're going to be
Right.
8-0 after
And that-
this one.
Let's pick they thems. And I totally forgot to go what am I trying to say here? Go over last week's picks. Seaman went 9-8, lost his Vikings lock. I went 11-6, got my Lions lock. Dewey lost his Ravens lock and went 12-5.
I'm him.
Cool.
And all of a sudden, my Pick'em's lead is shrinking. I am. Wait, I'm still 8 games ahead of Steven and 9 ahead of Dewey. So I'm hanging in there. But
Doing all right.
Crawling out of the hole we were in.
we're all pretty even so far.
Yep, treading water right now. Waiting for Matt to fuck up.
I've gone 11-4, 11-5, and 12-5 in the last 3 weeks. I'm on a hot streak here.
Yeah, I'm really good at getting like exactly 10 games and no more.
I've been playing Jeff Fisher ball.
You really have. Wow.
Pretty much at 500 the whole time.
Chip it away.
Pound that
Um,
rock.
I'm gonna need the Rams to come out big because I'm on a 4 lock streak also. So don't let me down. And that was Oofsides. Hopefully this didn't let you down. Any closing thoughts, you guys?
Free to bet.
Yeah, that too. Drink cayenne pepper and water, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, sure, man.
I'm tempted
Dude,
to try that now.
Why? It's just cayenne and fucking water.
Dude,
It's a-
I just
it's a thing.
discovered this crazy new superfood. You've probably never heard of it. It's called avocado. And
Huge.
you can put...
Dude,
That's kind of
I
more
love
than
me
possible.
some avocados.
Free Shavakadu. And on that note, this has been Oofsides on Track and Turf Media. You can follow below. Don't follow me on Twitter. Or do. I'm not gonna say I live your life. You can follow these lads there also. Football. And
Football.
Joe Bucket, I like a quick fuck.
and we'll see you next time.
Football.
Soccer.